Chapter 1, 99 Wives, I Don't Want to Go Down the Mountain. In the valley, 99 nymphs stood in a row, all with model-like figures of 1.78 meters, long milky white legs, and their swaying movements made Yi Wuliang drool. Little bastard, please hurry down the mountain. I have spent my entire life training to level 88, but you have reached level 9999 in just 5 years, becoming the only cultivator in the world to break through the pinnacle of the supreme realm of the primordial chaos. I really don't have the ability to teach you. Oh, and wipe your mouth off. Don't blame us for your evil thoughts. We all took an oath and a contract that we would never marry and protect this place for the rest of our lives. The head nun, wearing a red cheongsam and proudly displaying her 36D breasts, prayed. Yi Wuliang was silent, and his heart was a little uneasy. Master, I don't want to go down the mountain. I just want to stay with the other sisters. I'm not good enough to teach you, so go down the mountain. Here's the marriage contract. There are 2 families in Jiangzhou city, so go meet them. If the other person is good looking and has a good character, don't let them down. A marriage contract? There are 7 of them? Oh my god. Yi Wuliang was stunned. After living for more than 20 years, he didn't even know he had 7 fiancées. But I don't want to leave. I just want to stay by your side. In my eyes, you are the most beautiful, charming, and sexy. Yi Wuliang made a long face. Shut up. You have to leave, even if you don't want to. My master has decided that you must leave the mountain and stop disturbing our cultivation. Then, the other 98 concubines also reluctantly began to speak. Bastard, before you leave, I don't have anything to give you. This is my supreme black card, with a credit limit of 1 trillion. The Federal Reserve, the Swiss Bank, and Citibank are all my properties. You can spend it as you like, but I just hope you will quickly go down the mountain to get married and have children, and stop bothering us. The second concubine covered her white skirt, which had been blown by the wind, and squeezed her white legs, blushing. Little bastard, this is the Holy Fire Order. If you run into trouble, you can mobilize 1,000,000 troops in the north at any time. The bearer of this order is the bearer of this order. The third mistress smiled charmingly and took out the token from her bosom. This is the secret manual of the Silver Needle of the Ghost Valley, the lifelong expertise of the master, which I am also giving to you. After you go down the mountain, study it carefully. When the Silver Needle is used, many medical families will come to worship. And this is a classic book on gynecology. It is effective for treating common female diseases and breast enhancement. You know, it will definitely help you become a friend of women. This is the powerful King Kong pill. Men who take it will immediately become more virile, have boundless energy, and be invincible with women. This is also a magic weapon that the master has spent 81 days refining. 99 of the master's wives have each given their own treasures, hoping to drive away this little devil. I don't want a marriage contract yet, I just want to stay with you. Yi Wuliang still wants to fight for it. Shut up. Hurry up and leave. If we leave you here, how can we concentrate on our cultivation? In the past 5 years, you have reached the highest level, but we have made no progress at all, and our minds are in a complete mess. If you don't leave, we'll show you how to die right now. 99 of the nuns took out a sharp dagger from their bosom and placed it at their necks. No, 99 mistresses, don't hurt yourselves like this. I, Yi Wuliang, will listen to you and leave. I just can't bear to leave you, mistresses. Yi Wuliang said with some pain. I'll go, won't that be enough? Yi Wuliang shook his head, sighed, and turned to leave sadly. This silly boy. The nannies looked at Yi Wuliang's back and smiled with affection. In the past 5 years, they really regretted taking Yi Wuliang as a disciple. Because his talent for cultivation was too extraordinary, he had reached the maximum level of 9,999 in martial arts, medicine, Taoism, boxing, swordsmanship, and musical instruments. His strength is almost enough to beat them. His strength is a mess, but this group of beautiful master mothers is finished. Ever since he entered the mountains, they have all been disturbed in their minds and their cultivation has stagnated. These women actually wanted Yi Wuliang to stay in the mountains with them and even marry him. Unfortunately, the contract prevented them from marrying and forced them to guard the place for the rest of their lives. After leaving the mountain, Yi Wuliang finally got on the train to Jiangzhou after a lot of twists and turns. He was dressed in rags and looked like a little beggar, and was very inconspicuous in the crowd. Sitting in his seat, he glanced at the few middle-aged women in the carriage who were heavily made up. They were not very attractive, with flat chests and small butts, but they had arrogant eyes and looked down on him. They probably thought he was poor because of his shabby clothes. Yi Wuliang shook his head, not at all interested, because they were a million miles away from the 99 beautiful female teachers. At the transfer station, an old man with gray hair and a tall, aloof-looking young woman got on the bus and sat across from Yi Wuliang. Upon seeing her, Yi Wuliang's attention was immediately drawn to her. This woman had a delicate appearance, was extremely cold and aloof, and never smiled. There was a certain liveliness in her eyes, like a stream of water, refreshing and pleasant, and when one looked at her, there was a strong sense of pressure. She has a bit of the flavor of the 39th Division's wife. Although she is not as beautiful as the master's wife, she is still a first-class beauty. Among the 99 wives, she is also considered to be in the middle of the rankings. For a moment, Yi Wuliang was a little distracted. Close your dog eyes and look again, I'll dig it out. Zhao Linger, who had just sat down, looked at Yi Wuliang with a cold gaze. On hearing this, Yi Wuliang was a bit speechless. Are all the women under this mountain so cold and arrogant? Not even looking? Linger, don't be rude. The old gentleman sitting next to the woman looked at Zhao Linger seriously and then smiled at Yi Wuliang. Young man, don't mind it. Seeing that you look very young, what are you doing in Jiangzhou? Yi Wuliang nodded slightly. Old man, I'm going to Jiangzhou University to register for school. It just so happens that my fiancée is also in Jiangzhou City, and I want to go see her. Before he finished speaking, Zhao Linger cut in with a snide look of disdain. You're a country bumpkin, and you have a fiancé in Jiangzhou? If a woman in Jiangzhou can look at you, it's probably because all the men in the world have died. Yi Wuliang was seething with anger. This woman, she really can be poisonous. Linger. The old man glared at Zhao Linger and smiled at Yi Wuliang. Young man, this is my granddaughter. Although she has a bad temper, she has a good heart. Don't mind her. It is said that women from the mountains are tigers, especially women with big breasts. Yi Wuliang didn't take the words of his wife's warning to heart. Chapter 2, Ghost Valley Silver Needles. At this moment, the train had just started moving. The old man suddenly changed his expression, covering his chest and shaking violently. His once rosy face turned black, and he coughed up a pool of black blood, looking extremely painful. Grandpa! Grandpa, what's wrong with you? Zhao Linger was scared and pale, and she got up excitedly and patted his back. A doctor has a benevolent heart. Yi Wuliang immediately recognized the symptoms of the illness. This old man was also a cultivator. He had been cultivating for many years, but when he tried to break through the bottleneck of the Tianyuan realm, he was too hasty, causing his qi and fire to attack his heart. There were still a lot of toxins in his body, blocking his meridians, and the situation was critical. The train medical staff, upon hearing the news and learning of the old man's identity, was even more frightened and hurried to the scene. There were also some passengers in the carriage who were engaged in medical work. They all came forward to help, but they were all at a loss as to what to do about the symptoms of the illness. Everyone was extremely anxious, and Zhao Linger was so scared that she was pale and tearful, unable to speak. How long will it take to reach Jiangzhou City? Zhao's illness can only be treated at Jiangzhou First People's Hospital. The train attendant was anxious to ask the medical staff. It will take at least another hour. The conductor replied anxiously. That's not enough time. The patient can only hold on for half an hour at most. What should we do? Is there really no way? Do we just have to watch the patient die like this? Just as everyone was panicking, a calm voice came from the side. I can save him. The person speaking was Yi Wuliang, who pushed his way through the crowd and walked to the center. The train medical staff and passengers with medical qualifications looked at Yi Wuliang with strange eyes. Which hospital are you a doctor at? Can you save him? I'm not a doctor, I just learned Chinese medicine from my master for a few years. Yi Wuliang said indifferently. Isn't that just a little doctor? The train medical officer looked at him with disdain. Don't mess around, old man. Do you know who he is? Can you take responsibility if you don't treat him well? Yi Wuliang asked coldly, have you found the cause of the illness? Are you capable of saving him? Are you all going to stand by and watch him die? 3 consecutive questions left the scene silent. Just as Yi Wuliang was about to approach the old man, Zhao Linger suddenly exploded. "Don't touch my grandfather, you bumpkin, what are you doing? Don't worry, your grandfather is having an old illness attack." When he broke through the Tianyuan realm, he couldn't control it, causing his qi and fire to attack his heart. There are still a lot of toxins left in his body, blocking his meridians. If he can't get effective treatment within half an hour, he will die suddenly. Yi Wuliang calmly explained. Upon hearing this, Zhao Linger was stunned. How did this bumpkin know that her grandfather was breaking through the Tianyuan realm? Is he delusional? Yi Wuliang also didn't bother to respond to this short-sighted woman. "Beauty, please calm down and sit down. Shut your mouth. If you waste any more time, your grandfather's life will be in danger." After saying this, Yi Wuliang took out a wooden box from his backpack, inside of which were 13 silver needles neatly arranged. After taking out one of them, he slowly stuck it into the top of the old man's skull. Before Linger Zhao could react, the old man, who had just turned black, gradually became rosy and his breathing became even. Seeing the old man come to his senses, Zhao Linger was overjoyed. "Grandpa, you scared me to death just now. I've already contacted Director Zhao in advance. After we get off the train, we'll go to the hospital for treatment." The old man waved his hand, stared at Yi Wuliang for a few more times, and finally landed on the silver needles in the box, shocked to the point of dropping his jaw. "This is the long-lost Gigu's silver needle. I never thought it would reappear in the world today." The old man knew that his old illness had been incurable for many years, and that he had sought help from doctors all over the country. Even if he went to Jiangzhou Hospital to see Director Zhao, the top doctor, he could only temporarily control the recurrence of the disease. "Young man, do you think my illness can be cured?" he asked Yi Wuliang with a smile. Yi Wuliang said with a smile, "It's a piece of cake. It's just that the toxins have blocked the meridians. It's easy to unblock them. It's a piece of cake for me. Just give you a few more needles." Zhao Linger, standing aside, looked at Yi Wuliang with disdain, thinking to herself, "This guy is really a bumpkin. He doesn't even have the decency to write a draft before he brags. He said it would only take a few more needles. Grandpa's illness is even beyond the reach of Dr. Zhao. How can he possibly cure it?" Dr. Zhao said that to cure it, one must not only be a master of medicine, but also a martial arts master of the Golden Realm. There are less than 10,000 martial artists in the world who have reached the realm of the Golden Immortals. Zhao Linger never imagined that the bumpkin in front of her was actually the only supreme being in the world who had reached the realm of the primordial. The old man saw a glimmer of hope in him. This young man was calm and composed, dressed in ordinary clothes but full of vigor, and he had the unique skill of the silver needles of Gigu in his hands. He was probably already a super martial artist. "Young man, can you really cure my illness?" "Of course. You can take off your clothes now, and I will treat you right away," Yi Wuliang said sincerely. "Okay." The old man didn't suspect anything and was about to take off his clothes. "Grandpa, you're crazy. This bumpkin is just a quack doctor. Don't let him fool you. What if Zhao Linger stops him in a panic? Beauty, watch your words, okay? Who is the liar? Old man, control your granddaughter's mouth. I really don't want to waste my breath anymore." Yi Wuliang rolled his eyes at Zhao Linger. "Young lady, don't be rude. I believe the young man. Come on." After saying that, he unbuttoned his shirt and lay down. Yi Wuliang did not delay, and in turn, he inserted the 13 silver needles into the acupoints on the old man's chest. As the 13 silver needles were inserted, the old man's complexion began to improve significantly. A powerful energy began to gather in his body, and his blood and qi began to flow smoothly, and his face gradually turned red. "You country bumpkin, if anything happens to my grandfather, I won't let you off." Zhao Linger, who was standing nearby, kept talking. "Shut up, don't you get tired of it? You're really a she-devil. Whoever marries you will really have bad luck for 8 lifetimes." Yi Wuliang was really a little irritated by what she said. You. Zhao Linger glared at Yi Wuliang with clenched teeth, but she could do nothing about it. As the silver needle was inserted, the old man fell into a coma, but under the stimulation of the silver needle, bursts of irritable power surged, and the blood and poison in the blocked meridians were quickly dispersed. After being unblocked, the old man successfully broke through the Tianyuan realm. You have to know that he has been practicing in this realm for more than 10 years and has never been successful. Soon, the train arrived in Jiangzhou city. Yi Wuliang quickly put away the silver needles, took the luggage and bundle, and didn't bother to say goodbye to Zhao Linger. He got off the train by himself. Hey, you're not leaving, are you? Yi Wuliang ignored him. My grandfather is still unconscious. If anything happens to my grandfather, I won't let you go. I'll skin you alive and tear out your tendons. Zhao Linger stamped her feet. Yi Wuliang had just left, and the old man quietly woke up. At this time, he exuded a super strong primordial energy, and soon realized that he had broken through the Tianyuan realm. For more than 10 years, he had been diligently training to break through the Tianyuan realm, but a young man had broken through his bottleneck with just a few needles. How terrifying this young man must be. The old man was shocked when he thought about it. Grandpa, you're finally awake. I was so scared. If that bumpkin had ruined you, I would have killed him. Zhao Linger was extremely excited. Where is the little doctor? The old man's face changed suddenly and he asked anxiously. He's gone. He just got off the bus. Linger said slowly. Hurry, 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 Linger, immediately notify everyone in the Zhao family. Use whatever means necessary, mobilize all forces to find him. Even if you have to turn Jiangzhou city upside down, you must find him. He is a peerless genius. My Zhao family will pay any price to maintain a good relationship with him. The old man urgently commanded. Chapter 3, Qin Family Birthday Party. Yi Wuliang got off the train and took out 7 marriage certificates, 2 of which were in Jiangzhou. He chose the Qin family, which was the closest, and planned to meet the Qin family's fiancée first. If she had a big chest and a round butt, he could accept it, but if she wasn't pretty, he would have to break off the engagement. He took a taxi and just arrived at the Qin family villa. Inside, there was a festive and peaceful atmosphere. Unfortunately, today was the 70th birthday of the Qin family patriarch. The Qin family villa was decorated in a magnificent style, with luxurious decorations. There were many luxury cars in front of the villa, and many people came to congratulate the birthday boy. The sound of congratulatory gifts continued to ring out. The chairman of Ziguang Group gave a jade Buddha worth 1 million yuan, Mr. Li of Tiancheng Group gave a jade Rui worth 5 million yuan, Dayang Real Estate gave the old man a lakeside villa worth 30 million yuan. In front of the door, the butler read out the list of gifts aloud. There were many executives who came to congratulate the birthday boy, giving the Qin family face and making the Qin family butler feel proud and happy. He read the list aloud. Suddenly, hey, Qin's prospective son-in-law Yi Wuliang sent a wild ginseng worth 100 million yuan. A low voice sounded in the old butler's ear. He looked up and suddenly saw Yi Wuliang, who was out of place in the festive atmosphere of the Qin family villa, standing in front of him. Yi Wuliang was wearing a worn-out backpack, old sportswear, and a pair of white sneakers covered in mud. Pop! Yi Wuliang smiled at him and casually threw a dried radish on the table. Remember, 100-year-old wild ginseng is worth 100 million. Tell the old man not to eat it all at once, or he'll die suddenly. After saying that, Yi Wuliang walked towards the villa. The old butler was stunned at first, then his face turned black as charcoal, and he almost spat out a mouthful of blood in anger. He looked at the dried radish and his nose almost turned crooked with anger. This? You think I'm blind to use dried radish to pretend to be wild ginseng? The old butler's face was gloomy. He suddenly grabbed Yi Wuliang, looked at him, and was even more angry when he saw the row of muddy footprints on the red carpet that Yi Wuliang had made. Kid, the Qin family is not a place you can come to. Get out of here now. Security, security. Today is the birthday of the old master, so we can't let this kind of trash get in. Throw him out immediately, don't let this trash ruin the master's birthday party. Before he finished speaking, several burly men immediately surrounded him. As for the wild ginseng, it was thrown back into Yi Wuliang's hands. Hey, what are you doing? I am the Qin family's son-in-law, and Qin Yufei is my fiancé. Don't you dare touch me. Yi Wuliang snorted directly, and his handsome face was full of smug expressions. Master? Fiancé? The security guards were all stunned. Pop! Yi Wuliang casually slapped the marriage certificate on the table and looked at the old butler smugly. take it in and show it to the old man and Qin Yufei, and let them come out to meet me personally. I am sure that when your young lady sees my handsome face later, she will definitely fall in love with me immediately, and she will love me so much that she will want to marry me immediately." When he said this, everyone was stunned. Now, the old butler was also stunned, and he cursed the guy for being shameless. But looking down at the yellowed marriage certificate, he was a little confused. Is this really the young master? He looked at Yi Wuliang blankly. Wait a minute, I'll go in and ask. He quickly entered the villa with the marriage certificate, and in less than 2 minutes, the old butler came out running. Yi Wuliang smiled. "Hey, now you know who I am, so hurry up and treat me with respect, take me in, treat me well, and then casually arrange for 3 or 5 beautiful women to give me a shoulder massage and leg rub." Yi Wuliang thought to himself with a smug look. However, at the moment he was feeling smug, the old butler had already run out, his face dark and his voice low and cold. All the security personnel came over. "This guy is an imposter," the old master said. "Cut off his legs and throw him into the sea. Don't care if he lives or dies." As soon as the words fell, the old butler tore the marriage certificate to pieces in front of Yi Wuliang, giving the order. Immediately, the Qin family security guards attacked like wolves. "Damn it, what the hell is going on? But you little shits." Yi Wuliang just waved his fist. Boom, boom, boom. The security guards flew backwards, spitting blood and unable to stand up. They were no match for Yi Wuliang, and even if there were 7 or 8 of them, or even 7 or 800, Yi Wuliang could kill them all with one punch. It was as easy as swatting a fly, and he taught them a lesson in a matter of minutes. In the blink of an eye, they all fell to the ground. The old butler was so scared that he trembled and hurriedly backed away. Pop! Yi Wuliang quickly stepped forward and slapped the old butler in the face. "Ah, you dare to hit me? I am the butler of the Qin family. You. The old butler looked at Yi Wuliang angrily. Pop! Yi Wuliang was not polite with him and slapped him again in the face. After 2 slaps, his teeth fell out, his cheeks were swollen, and his face felt like it was being pricked by needles. "What do you mean? Who told you to tear up the marriage contract? Are you Qin family planning to break the engagement?" Yi Wuliang's teasing eyes were a bit cold. No, I'm not going to deal with you. It's all Chen Xiaojun and the old man's idea. The Qin family has climbed onto the big tree of the Chen family, so they want to break off the marriage and get rid of you to prevent future problems. Don't hit me, I'm innocent when I get hit. The butler was so scared that he peed his pants and confessed everything. Damn it, I haven't even married my 99 beautiful concubines yet. If you kill me, I'll be a ghost with a grievance. Yi Wuliang sneered, grabbed the old butler, and strode into the villa. At this moment, in the garden of the Qin family villa, wealthy people from all walks of life came to celebrate the birthday of the patriarch of the Qin family. The Qin family is only a third-tier family in Jiangzhou, so in theory they are not qualified to attract the attention of these various forces. But a few months ago, Qin Yufei of the Qin family and Chen's son accidentally came together and became Chen's prospective daughter-in-law. Since then, the Qin family's status in Jiangzhou city has risen, and it is precisely because of the Chen family that many wealthy people have come to celebrate the birthday of the Qin family's patriarch today. The birthday party was lively. But in the midst of the joyous atmosphere, Yi Wuliang appeared here with the Qin butler, instantly attracting the attention of a large number of people. Who is this guy dressed like a bumpkin, carrying Qin's butler? The face of the butler was distorted. Is this kid looking for trouble? He dares to come to the Qin family to cause trouble. Does this guy want to die? The murmuring suddenly began. On the main seat, the old master of the Qin family suddenly looked gloomy and stared at Yi Wuliang, who had barged in. Next to the old man, there was a handsome couple standing. The man was the young master of the Chen family, Chen Xiaojun, and the woman was Yi Wuliang's fiancée, the Qin family's daughter, Qin Yufei. Yi Wuliang looked at her carefully. She was quite attractive, and she had good looks and good character, but her breasts were a bit small. Grandpa, is he the one who just brought the marriage certificate? How did he get in? Qin Yufei was a little panicked. But before the old man could say anything, Chen Xiaojun snorted, "Don't worry, Yufei. I'm here. He can't stir up any trouble. You're my woman, Chen Xiaojun." This country bumpkin who came out of nowhere with a broken marriage certificate doesn't have the qualifications to try to steal my woman. Hearing this, Qin Yufei immediately snuggled into Chen Shujuan's arms, making herself look like a little bird. Brother Jun, Yufei has been yours for a long time. I only love you in this life. Grandpa Qin clasped his hands in front of him and looked at Chen Xiaojun with a face full of compliments. Yes, Chen Xiao and Yufei are a match made in heaven. This country bumpkin is nothing. Chapter 4, Kill Biao, Destroy Him. It was my mistake to be so confused and to make such a marriage contract. This bowing and scraping is not like facing a son-in-law, it's like treating a father. Just now, when the marriage contract was delivered, Chen Xiaojun almost lost his temper. Mr. Qin also made a quick decision. Now that the Qin family can climb on the shoulders of the Chun family, it is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. As for the marriage contract from that year, he had forgotten about it long ago and never thought about keeping it. A country bumpkin and the Chen family's eldest son, even a fool knows how to choose. As for Qin Yufei and Chen Xiaojun getting married, the Qin family will surely soar from then on, and sooner or later become the top family in Jiangzhou, looking down on everyone else. Humph, you brat, you're the one who just came here with a fake marriage certificate to cause trouble, right? Today is my birthday party, and I don't want any trouble. You should leave the Qin family immediately. I can pretend that nothing happened. If you don't leave, then you will be responsible for the consequences. The old master of the Qin family stood up straight, his eyes fixed on Yi Wuliang, and said indifferently. Yi Wuliang frowned. The Qin family has climbed a big tree, so they want to kick him out. The sad thing is that the Qin family doesn't know that I never intended to marry a woman from the mountain. If you were to talk to me nicely, it wouldn't matter. You can let your granddaughter marry whoever she wants. I won't stop her. Now it's good, but you have to be so against me. Do you really think I, Yi Wuliang, am made of mud and easy to bully? Yi Wuliang's face showed a sneer. Chen Xiaojun also cast his gaze at him, his eyes cold and sharp as knives. Humph, I don't know where this bumpkin came from. Don't think that you can come here and stir up trouble with a fake marriage certificate. I tell you, Qin Yufei is my woman, Chen Xiaojun. As for you, go back to where you came from, or I'll gouge out your eyes and make you regret being born. Chen Xiaojun threatened him coldly, while tightly holding Qin Yufei in his arms and looking down on him with a look of superiority. The sudden appearance of Yi Wuliang, the words of the Qin family patriarch and Chen Xiaojun, made the guests in the courtyard talk about it, curious about what was going on. At this moment, Yi Wuliang suddenly looked sad and cried out to Qin Yufei, Yufei, do you really not love me anymore? Are all the things you said to me in bed that day false? You said you only loved me, and that you wanted to give me 100 children, and try 1,000 different positions. The sound instantly spread throughout the audience. Boom! His words were like a thunderbolt, instantly blowing everything up. What? What is he saying? What does he mean? Did he sleep with Miss Qin? The audience gasped in shock, and Qin Yufei's face changed dramatically. Shut up, you country bumpkin. I don't even know you, so don't talk nonsense. You bastard, shut up immediately. How dare you slander Yufei? Are you looking for death? Chen Xiaojun also shouted in anger, his forehead veins bulging, and his eyes looking at Yi Qiu as if he were looking at a dead person. He was furious. Chen Xiaojun was furious, and his anger was immense. The Chen family is well known in Jiangzhou and is one of the 4 major families. As a top-level family, the most important thing is face, but now Yi Wuliang, who came out of nowhere, yelled and shouted in public, directly calling his fiancée, Chen Xiaojun, a woman who did not keep her wifely duties. Yi Wuliang's move was undoubtedly slapping the Chen family in the face, tearing the family's face off and rubbing it on the ground, trampling it. Chen Xiaojun was breathing heavily, his eyes red, and at this moment he was so angry that he wanted to kill someone. But no one waited for him to speak. Yi Wuliang continued to shout. Everyone, now that things have come to this, I have no choice but to tell you the truth. I met Qin Yufei half a year ago, and she slept with me the next day. Yes, you heard me right. She slept with me. She saw that I was handsome, had a good figure, was knowledgeable and talented, and was young and promising. She was attracted to my good looks and talent, so she slept with me. As soon as he said this, dozens of pairs of eyes stared at him. Shit. You're shameless, aren't you? Are you talking about something or are you just bragging about yourself? Is this how you praise yourself? Do you still have any shame? Everyone's mouth twitched, and Yi Wuliang continued to yell. We slept together after that, and I had sex with her hundreds of times, trying out 108 different positions. We did it in the car, on the sofa, in the kitchen, and in the park. She told me it was more exciting that way, so I went along with it. And then she got pregnant with my child. She lied to me and said she was going home to take care of the baby, but then she disappeared. The baby was also aborted by her. Yi Wuliang's words were like thunder, bombarding everyone's hearts like crazy. The entire audience was dumbfounded. They stared at Yi Wuliang. This guy, is he deliberately looking for trouble? Is this a slap in the face of the Qin family or the Chun family? Regardless of whether what he said was true or not, after this operation, the face of the Chen and Qin families was completely smashed. If the incident today were to spread, the rumors would spread to unimaginable proportions. In short, everyone present was dumbfounded. Chen Xiaojun was trembling with anger and his face was ashen. Xin Yufei's fists were clenched so tightly that her fingernails were about to pierce her flesh. Shut up, shut up. Don't listen to this little bastard's nonsense. Yufei has been at home for the past 6 months, she hasn't left at all. Except for dating Qin Xiao, she has almost never left the house. She and this little bastard don't know each other at all. Don't listen to his nonsense. Grandpa Qin roared, "Security, where are you all? Come out and arrest this little bastard. Put him in the dungeon and chop him into a million pieces." He roared furiously, his forehead veins bulging, his eyes filled with rage, and the flames of his anger were about to condense into a solid mass. Clatter! As he finished speaking, a group of security guards rushed out. Wait! Suddenly, when the security guards were about to take action, Chen Xiaojun let out a low growl. Ah, Chen Xiao. Xin Yufei looked at Chen Xiaojun with a pale face. The guest's eyes also fell on him in an instant. Chen Xiaojun walked out with a cold face, slowly scanning the audience with a cold and terrifying gaze. Finally, he looked at Xin Yufei. Chen Xiao. Xin Yufei's face was full of grievances, and she tightly pursed her lips. Yufei, I believe in you, Chen Xiaojun said. Upon hearing this, Xin Yufei and the old master of the Qin family immediately felt relieved. Although they all knew that Yi Wuliang was talking nonsense, they knew that it was useless unless Chen Xiaojun believed it. If Yi Wuliang's words cause a rift between Chen Xiaojun and the Qin family, then that would be a problem. Sorrowful Biao. Chen Xiaojun took a deep breath and suddenly shouted, saying, Biao, you personally take action and destroy this fool. I want to see you break his limbs with my own eyes. His voice was cold like the ice of the far north, and every word carried a chill that penetrated his body. Chapter 5, One Punch to Kill. As he finished speaking, a burly man, like a steel tower, appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Bao had no expression on his face, his eyes were cold, and he walked as if he were a machine without the slightest emotion. Wherever Bao went, people felt a chill, and a sense of panic and fear rose from the depths of their hearts. This man is Qin Xiaojun's personal bodyguard, a former mercenary with hundreds of lives on his hands. After returning to China, he spent 3 years in the underground boxing ring, undefeated in 1,000 battles. He has a fierce record of 1,000 wins in underground boxing matches, and among these 1,000 matches, in nearly 300 of them, his opponents were torn apart by him and died miserably on the ring. 2 years ago, Shang Biao joined the Chen family and became Qin Xiaojun's personal bodyguard. With his appearance, the guests felt the chill and murderous aura of Sang Biao, and they all shuddered and backed away, no one daring to look him in the eye. Humph, no one can survive when Sang Biao strikes, and you are no exception. Chen Xiaojun sneered. His face was as cold as a ghost, and the cold light in his eyes was like a venomous snake watching its prey. It was grim, cold, and full of blood and murder. It's over. This kid is dead. Sang Biao is the king of the underground boxing ring, undefeated in 1,000 battles, and no one is his match. It is said that Sang Biao practices the eagle claw technique, which makes tearing people apart as simple as shredding paper. The next scene is sure to be very bloody, so the timid should cover their eyes and not watch. Everyone spoke up at the same time, slowly backing away, afraid of being affected. At this moment, Sang Biao had already made his move. When he was 3 meters away from Yi Wuliang, his body suddenly turned into a shadow and rushed towards Yi Wuliang. His claws were like eagle claws. Towards Yi Wuliang's shoulder. "You're going to die," Chen Xiaojun shouted in excitement. Yi Wuliang smiled coldly, and when he saw that Sang Biao had already come close, he raised his fist and smashed it at Sang Biao. The fist was like a bolt of thunder. Fierce and violent. A punch was launched, and the opponent was dealt a blow after the attack. The crowd did not see how the battle ended, but after hearing a piercing scream, they saw the wolf-like Sang Biao spitting out a mouthful of blood. The sturdy body was blown 10 meters away by a single punch, like a kite with its string cut. Looking at Yi Wuliang, he was standing there unharmed. This scene stunned everyone. In an instant, the scene, which had been a little noisy, became quiet again. Everyone stared at Yi Wuliang with wide eyes, unable to believe what they were seeing. No one expected it. The seemingly skinny Yi Wuliang was able to kill with a single punch, defeating the once invincible super-strong fighter in the underground boxing ring, Sang Biao. Chen Shijuan's face turned white in an instant, and he also stared in disbelief, almost unable to stand up after taking a few steps back, and collapsed. No one dared to believe that the infamous Sang Biao in Jiangzhou city was killed by a single punch. Everyone stared at him with wide eyes, staring at the depression in his chest, spitting blood frantically, and still barely alive. "Ah, no, no." Chen Xiaojun kept backing away, his face turning pale. The old man Qin and Qin Yufei also looked terrified, unable to believe what they were seeing as Yi Wuliang stood there, looking calm and relaxed. After all, he defeated Sang Biao. Sang Biao, who had blood on his hands and was undefeated in 1,000 battles. Humph. Suddenly, Chen Shijuan's pale expression became ferocious, and he let out a low growl. He looked at Yi Wuliang with eyes like knives and spoke in a cold voice. "I really underestimated you. I didn't think you were so powerful. But so what if you're good? Can you fight 10 or 100 enemies at once?" At this point, he suddenly shouted in a deep voice, "All security personnel, as well as the Chen family's secret guards, come out." As the voice fell, a procession of figures entered. Among them, the 10 with the strongest aura were all his Chen family's secret guards. Today is the old man's birthday, and Chen Xiaojun specially brought 10 of his secret guards to maintain order in the dark and prevent anyone from causing trouble. Now these secret guards are just in time. Although these 10 people are not as powerful as Sang Biao, if they join forces against the enemy, Sang Biao will not last more than 10 moves. At this moment, these 10 bodyguards are in the front line, and together with all the security personnel, there are more than 100 people. Chen Xiaojun smiled indifferently. He didn't believe that Yi Wuliang could still be at ease under the siege of 100 people. Ah, Chen Xiao has made such an arrangement. He is really far-sighted. I admire him. With these 10 secret guards, this little bastard who came to cause trouble will definitely not be able to leave the Qin family alive. The old man of the Qin family smiled with joy and immediately began to flatter Chen Xiaojun. "Brother Jun, you're so great." Qin Yufei snuggled up to Chen Xiaojun and looked at him with admiration. The scene was still deathly silent. The guests present felt the bloody murderous aura exuded by the 10 dark guards, and looked at the nearly 100 security personnel who had already surrounded Yi Wuliang. All of them looked scared, and Chen Xiaojun looked smug and laughed hysterically. "Ha ha, you piece of trash, you slandered my fiancé in front of my face, you really want to die. Today, I, Chen Xiaojun, will teach you how to be a man. Get to work and teach this dog a lesson. Whoever breaks this dog's hands will be rewarded with 1 million yuan. If you break his legs, I will reward you with 2 million yuan." As soon as this was said, the audience was in uproar. The Chen family's secret guards and the security guards were instantly excited. As long as they disabled Yi Wuliang's arms, they would get 1 million reward. If they disabled his legs, they would get 2 million. In an instant, they were extremely excited and rushed towards Yi Wuliang like wolves. "Die! Kill him! Break his legs and get rich!" The crowd shouted wildly, and in an instant they had rushed forward. Chen Xiaojun stood at the front, laughing wildly. In his eyes, Yi Wuliang was already a dead man. He was convinced that under the siege of 100 people, Yi Wuliang would definitely die. Even if he survived by chance, he would definitely have all his bones broken and become a complete cripple. However, just as he was laughing, Yi Wuliang moved. His slender body rushed out in an instant, like a high-speed train, crashing into the security guards and the dark guards. Yes, it was a direct collision, without any fancy moves or martial arts. just the most primitive kind of collision. Ah, ah, ah. With his brutal charge, anyone he touched was instantly knocked out, fell to the ground in agony, and screamed. In an instant, the screams of the crowd were unending, and the 100 thugs were flying or falling to the ground at a speed visible to the naked eye. In less than half a minute, Yi Wuliang stood firmly, while the 100 people who had attacked him were all lying on the ground, screaming in agony. Both the security guards and the Chen family's secret guards were no exception. Yi Wuliang was unharmed, not a hair out of place, not to mention a scratch. This scene instantly shocked the entire audience. Chapter 6: Grandpa Zhao makes his appearance. Mighty, invincible, domineering, mysterious, in the eyes of everyone at this moment, Yi Wuliang is such an existence. In less than half a minute, he had killed 100 people. What kind of combat power is this? What kind of invincibility is this? Before the crowd could react, Yi Wuliang disappeared again and appeared in front of Chen Xiaojun like a ghost. Ah, ah, ah. In an instant, Chen Xiaojun screamed in fear, looking at Yi Wuliang, who appeared in front of him as if he had seen a ghost. Kiss me to find out how it feels. Maybe it will awaken your memories of a past life? Yi Wuliang said with a smirk. He then stuck out his mouth to kiss her. Zhao Linger's face immediately turned pale, and she looked at him coldly. Humph, you dirty rascal, who said you were my husband? You're shameless. After that, she quickly dodged. The guests present widened their eyes again and looked at Yi Wuliang in disbelief. This guy is really crazy. He actually molested the Zhao family's daughter in front of the old master Zhao. Is this guy tired of living? Who doesn't know that Zhao Linger is the apple of the old man's eye? However, just when everyone thought the old man was about to lose his temper and they were all ready to watch the show, a scene that shocked everyone appeared. The old man from the Zhao family smiled and immediately agreed. Yes, Mr. Yi and Linger really have a connection. They may have been husband and wife in a previous life. I don't know if Mr. Yi is single now. If he is, that would be great. Linger is also single. You two are a perfect match. And Linger being able to be with you, Mr. Yi, is a blessing she earned in her previous life. These words were spoken with great sincerity and earnestness. When he said this, the entire audience was instantly stunned, and they all stared at Grandpa Zhao with wide eyes, unable to believe what they had heard. Everyone was dumbfounded, and Chen Xiaojun was also stunned. What was going on? You, Grandpa Zhao, are the one who loves your granddaughter the most, but now, in the face of such a country bumpkin's harassment, not only are you not angry, but you say that it is your granddaughter's blessing to marry this country bumpkin. This? Chen Xiaojun's brain was down, his head was blank, and he just felt that the world was really crazy. No, this isn't real. Old Zhao. Suddenly, Chen Xiaojun stood up, wiped the blood from his mouth, and shouted angrily, Old Zhao, Yi Wuliang is my enemy. Today, I will definitely tear him to pieces. Please. As soon as he finished speaking, the old Zhao family head turned around sharply and looked at Chen Xiaojun with eyes like a tiger. Chen Xiaojun shuddered, and the rest of his words immediately stuck in his throat and could not be spoken. Humph, an enemy of the Chen family? The old man sneered. What if I were to say that Mr. Yi is a guest of the Zhao family, and that the Zhao family will protect him? One sentence, simple and clear, directly stating his position. Chen Xiaojun clenched his fists tightly. Grandpa, what do you mean? Are you going to make an enemy of my family because of this bumpkin? Humph, an enemy? Chen Xiaojun, you are not qualified to say this. If you want to go to war with my Zhao family, go back and let your grandfather say it. You are not qualified to say this. Zhao's grandfather roared. Suddenly, the aura of a Tianyuan realm master exploded, sweeping the entire audience. Plop! Chen Xiaojun was terrified, and collapsed on the ground. Under this terrifying pressure, his pants instantly became wet, and he was actually scared to urinate. Chen Xiaojun was trembling on the ground, almost incontinent. Fortunately, he managed to hold back and only wet his pants. If he had incontinence, his face would have been completely ruined. At this moment, the aura of the powerful Tianyuan realm master Zhao burst out, and he stood there like a wild beast from the ancient times, and no one dared to look at him. It was also this magnificent and vast aura that shook Chen Xiaojun to the core, making him extremely afraid. Everyone in the Chen family, get out of here. I'm putting my words out here today. In the future, no matter if it's the Chen family or other families, as long as they oppose Mr. Yi, they are opposing my Zhao family, and my Zhao family will definitely not forgive them. After saying this, the old man's two fingers formed a sword, and a burst of qi turned into a sharp sword ray, slashing down towards the ground. Boom! The earth roared, and dust and smoke rose. When the smoke and dust cleared, a ravine as wide as an arm appeared on the earth, with no bottom. Sigh. The audience gasped in horror, and dozens of pairs of eyes looked at Grandpa Zhao in horror. How terrifying! The old master's qi is so powerful that he is probably already beyond the pinnacle of the Tianyuan realm and not far from becoming a grandmaster. Yes, if the old master can break through to the level of a master, I'm afraid the situation in Jiangzhou city will change at any time. Everyone exclaimed. Chen Xiaojun trembled wildly, his eyes filled with fear. A master! That's enough to change the pattern of Jiangzhou. If Master Zhao really breaks through, then I'm afraid that from now on, the Zhao family will be the dominant family in Jiangzhou. He dared not say more, and hurriedly got up and fled like a dog in mourning. As for the other guests, they all looked at Master Zhao with trepidation. The martial arts path. The first level is to refine the bones and flesh, followed by the internal organs. These are the two levels of entry. After tempering the body and the internal organs, and after reaching the pinnacle of internal cultivation, the next breakthrough is the realm of the earth element, and then the realm of the heavenly element. The realm of the heavenly element is known as the realm of martial arts masters, who can sit in one place and support a family. If he makes another breakthrough, he will become a martial arts master. In the city, any martial arts master can dominate a region. The prerequisite for becoming a martial arts master is to release true qi and condense it into various forms to fight. This is a martial arts master. Today, the old master of the Zhao family pointed his sword like a sword, and the sword energy left deep gullies in the ground. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that this was already beyond the pinnacle of the Tianyuan realm. It was feared that the old master was already in the realm of a half-step master. However, what everyone doesn't know is that the reason why the old man was able to reach this level of half-master is actually all because of Yi Wuliang. It was Yi Wuliang who cured his illness, which is why he was able to reach this level by chance. Chapter 8: The Three Beauties of Jiangzhou City. It was precisely because of this that the old man knew that if he could win over Yi Wuliang, it would be an absolute blessing for the Zhao family. Ah! At the moment when the whole audience was in a state of extreme silence, Yi Wuliang suddenly stretched and broke the silence. Immediately, he yawned out of boredom. Ah, Mr. Yi must be tired. If you don't mind, you can go to the Zhao family to rest. You've come all the way here, so it's good to go eat something and take a bath. Mr. Zhao immediately smiled and said. Well, that's good, because I don't have anywhere to go. Yi Wuliang yawned and said, then suddenly turned and looked at the Qin family. Ah, Mr. Yi, Mr. Qin's father wanted to say something, but he stammered and couldn't speak. Yi Wuliang smiled. Stop talking. The marriage contract has been torn up. Let's call it quits on the marriage between me and the Qin family. Hey, I'm such a handsome and dashing man, and you're destined to never get me. This is your loss. I'm leaving. After saying that, he turned around and left without any hesitation. Xin Yufei and her grandfather collapsed to the ground. Mr. Zhao's pupils contracted. Marriage contract? He shuddered and immediately showed a happy look. It seems that the Qin family has repudiated the marriage. Good, great. If you don't repudiate the marriage, my granddaughter won't have a chance. He thought to himself, and quickly caught up with Yi Wuliang, smiling with a face full of flattery. Mr. Yi, you can actually consider my granddaughter. My granddaughter is young and beautiful, much better looking than this little girl from the Qin family. And I had someone read the fortune of Linger, and he will definitely be able to have a son in the future. Plop, plop, plop. As he spoke, the guests at the Qin villa fell to the ground one after another, all with their mouths wide open, looking at Grandpa Zhao like they had seen a ghost. What's going on? Is this old man Zhao trying to marry his granddaughter to this bumpkin? Everyone was stunned. Stunned. The Zhao family. After Yi Wuliang came, he had a comfortable and satisfying meal, and then took a hot bath. While he was bathing, the Zhao family received news that the old master of the Zhao family had probably reached the realm of a semi-master. When this news came, the Zhao family was in an uproar. At the same time, the entire city of Jiangzhou was also in an uproar. Zhao's study. The old man looked at Zhao Linger with a loving expression on his face. Linger, this Mr. Yi is definitely a miracle worker. Not only did he cure my secret illness and save my life, he also made me reach the realm of semi-master in one fell swoop. Linger, spend more time with Mr. Yi and cultivate a good relationship. You are so lucky to be able to marry Mr. Yi. He spoke with deep concern, and Zhao Linger's face turned bitter. Grandpa, that guy is a scoundrel. I'm sick of him. How could he be a miracle man? I'd say he's just a blind cat that happened to catch a dead mouse. You're overestimating him. Upon hearing this, Zhao Laosher shook his head. Linger, you're still very young. Remember, you must cultivate a relationship with Mr. Yi. If you can cultivate a relationship, that's great, but if you can't, Grandpa won't force you. He said, and then he clapped his hands. The door to the study opened and a servant immediately came in with a set of workout clothes. Linger, take this set of clothes to Mr. Yi. Ah! Zhao Linger exclaimed, her face suddenly turning red. Now Yi Wuliang is taking a bath, and Grandpa is asking me to deliver his clothes to him. This is obvious. Grandpa, I. Go! Zhao Laosher smiled, looking like an old fox. Zhao Linger helplessly stamped her feet and had to pick up the clothes and go to Yi Wuliang's room. Coincidentally, Yi Wuliang had just finished his shower and was coming out of the bathroom wrapped in a towel. This is the clothes that Grandpa asked me to give you. You better get dressed quickly. Zhao Linger covered her eyes and threw the clothes on the bed, then turned around and left. Big-breasted girl, you're in a hurry to leave. Don't you want to see my perfect body? What are you covering your eyes for? Is it because I'm even more handsome after a shower? Are you worried that you will fall in love with me at first sight and want to offer yourself to me, unable to extricate yourself? Yi Wuliang snickered. Bah, don't flatter yourself. Even if I fall in love with a pig, I'm not going to fall in love with you. Zhao Linger pouted and said angrily, and her impression of Yi Wuliang once again worsened a little. Yi Wuliang dressed quickly and Zhao Linger wanted to leave, but he grabbed her. What are you doing? Zhao Linger was suddenly like a frightened bird, backing up to protect herself. I'm warning you, this is the Zhao family. Don't touch me, or my grandfather won't let you go. Well, your grandfather would love nothing more than to sleep with you right now and make me your son-in-law. Yi Wuliang interrupted her, saying calmly. Zhao Linger's words were suddenly blocked in her throat, and she couldn't say a word. Her pretty face turned pale. It's over. What does this scoundrel want to do? Is he going to force me now? At this thought, Zhao Linger was about to cry. Oh, Yi Wuliang, don't force me. If you really can't hold it in, I'll have someone find you a few girls. You can have any kind you want, from a young girl to a mature woman. Zhao Linger backed away. Yi Wuliang opened his mouth wide, looking shocked. Big-breasted girl, you know a lot, huh? You must be an old hand at picking up girls. I never thought that you and I were kindred spirits. Who is your kindred spirit? Don't talk nonsense. Don't be afraid, this handsome guy doesn't plan to sleep with you yet. I just want to ask you something. If you answer me well, I'll let you go. But if you don't answer me well, I'll sleep with you right here and now, and there's no turning back. Yi Wuliang threatened with a smirk. Zhao Linger trembled, as if a lamb had fallen into the jaws of a wolf. She was about to cry out in fear, her lips tightly clenched, tears already rolling in her eyes. Seeing this, Yi Wuliang could only take 2 steps back, not daring to continue to scare him. I'm not teasing you. I just wanted to ask you if you know Shen Huowu. Look at you, you're so scared. Shen Huowu? Hearing this name, Zhao Linger widened her eyes. What do you want with my cousin? What is your purpose? Cousin? Yi Wuliang was stunned. What's going on? Shen Huowu is your cousin? This time it was his turn to be shocked, looking at Zhao Linger in surprise. Shen Huowu is my cousin, the president of the Shen group, and the future heir to the Shen family. You dirty rascal, what do you want? I'll tell you, there are many young talents who are pursuing my cousin. She doesn't look down on you, so don't have any evil intentions towards my cousin. She is one of the 3 most beautiful women in Jiangzhou city, along with Li Xuanfei and Shen Yameng. You are not worthy of her. Zhao Linger said viciously. Chapter 9. Is this my fiancé? Jiangzhou, the 3 most beautiful women? Yi Wuliang suddenly became excited. Shan Huowu. She is his fiancée in Jiangzhou City. There are 2 more in Jiangzhou City. Xin Yufei has already met one, and the other is Shen Huowu. Gee, one of the 3 beauties, that must be very beautiful. I must go and meet her. If she is really curvy, with long legs and big breasts, then I will let her have her way with me. I will never resist. But if she is ugly, then I must break off the engagement. Yi Wuliang said to himself, and then looked at Zhao Linger with a mischievous smile. You just said that the 3 beauties are Shen Huowu, Li Xuanfei, and Chen Yumeng. Big-breasted girl, you're not in there? On hearing this, Zhao Linger immediately stamped her foot in anger. I'm only 20 years old this year, and I was 17 when I was ranked. I hadn't even grown up yet. If I were to be ranked now, I would definitely be one of the 4 beauties, and I would definitely be on the list. Don't look down on people. Oh. Yi Wuliang let out a long "oh," looked at Zhao Linger's chest twice, and swallowed his saliva. Don't look. Zhao Linger was so angry that she quickly covered her chest. I didn't take your clothes off. What's wrong with looking at you through your clothes? Yi Wuliang made a nonchalant expression. Okay, I'm not going to mess with you anymore. Take me to find Shen Huowu. Hee, that's my fiancé, the one with the marriage certificate. Upon hearing this, Zhao Linger froze on the spot, but by then Yi Wuliang had already taken out the marriage certificate and was waving it around in his hands like a show-off. Zhao Linger took the marriage certificate and looked at it carefully. Is it real? Is this the marriage certificate? To be honest, Zhao Linger didn't know if the marriage certificate was real or not, and she couldn't read these. Do you really want to meet my cousin? Zhao Linger looked up at him and said, I can take you to meet my cousin, but you can't bother me anymore. If my cousin doesn't like you, you can't bother my cousin, okay? Yi Wuliang rolled his eyes. Pester you? When did I ever bother you? It was your grandfather who was the one who kept pestering me, wasn't it? Yi Wuliang was speechless, but he didn't bother to say anything. He simply nodded. Okay, you take me to my future wife, and then we'll have nothing to do with each other anymore. Upon hearing this, Zhao Linger was overjoyed. Shen Group. The group building is located in the city center, towering into the sky, with the main building over 30 stories high. The top floor is where Shen Huowu's office is located. Because of Zhao Linger's leadership, Yi Wuliang entered the Shen Group very smoothly and arrived at the top floor. Shen Huowu was in his office, rubbing his temples and looking distressed, as if he was having some kind of problem. At this moment, the office door was pushed open and Zhao Linger burst in. Ah, cousin. Zhao Linger shouted. Shen Huowu looked up and smiled wryly. Linger, why are you here? You want to go shopping with me, don't you? I can't today. There's been trouble at the pharmaceutical factory lately, and I'm so annoyed that I don't have the heart to go shopping with you. Oh, cousin, I didn't come to go shopping with you. I came to introduce you to a big bad guy. A big bad guy? Shen Huowu was at a loss. Zhao Linger immediately showed a fierce expression. Yes, he is a big bad guy. He said he is your fiancé and has a marriage certificate. I think he must have forged the marriage certificate to get close to you. Cousin, don't let him fool you. As she was talking, Yi Wuliang peeked in. As soon as he walked into the office and saw Shen Huowu, Yi Wuliang's blood rushed to his head and his eyes almost popped out. His heart started pounding and his blood pressure shot up. His blood pressure shot up. She was so beautiful, with a stunning face and an unbeatable look. Yi Wuliang was instantly smitten. Damn. She's so beautiful, so big. I'm so lucky to be married to her. Oh, I'm sure we'll die soon. Yi Wuliang almost howled. He took 3 steps and rushed to the desk before Shen Huowu could react, tightly grasping Shen Huowu's white and slender hands. The touch was so good. Oh, my wife, I'm sorry I'm late. Hurry home and get the family register. Let's go get the certificate now and have our wedding tonight. Yi Wuliang's heart was boiling. He had never imagined that his fiancée was so beautiful, almost as beautiful as the master's wife. Shen Huowu was completely frozen, unable to move. Who is this? Who is this? And she wants to get married and have a wedding night with me? She was stunned, and it took her a few seconds to react. Her beautiful face suddenly turned cold, and she pulled her hand away. Are you the big bad guy that Ling brought here? You really are a lecher. Get out of the Shen group immediately, or I'll have the security guard escort you out. The word please was emphasized. Obviously, if the security guard comes, it will definitely be a beating, not a so-called invitation. Oh, honey, don't be so cruel. I'm your husband. Look, this is the marriage certificate. You're not going to renege on the contract, are you? Yi Wuliang took out the marriage certificate and slapped it on the table. Humph, this marriage certificate must be fake. You really think you can use this fake marriage certificate to trick my cousin? You can just dream on. Zhao Linger said with a smug look. However, Shen Huowu trembled all over after seeing the marriage certificate and froze on the spot. When she looked up, she couldn't help but whisper in surprise. You really are my fiancé, and you are the apprentice of the senior Luo Hua? Upon hearing this, Zhao Linger, who had been so smug, suddenly froze, looking at her cousin in disbelief. Yi Wuliang said, the senior you are talking about, should be my 79th wife. Now you admit that she is my wife, right? Cousin, what is going on? Shouldn't this marriage certificate be fake? What are you doing? Zhao Linger was anxious. Shen Huowu took a deep breath and looked serious. When I was young, my family did arrange a marriage for me, saying that the other party would come looking for me when he became an adult. I never thought it would actually come true. Linger, this marriage certificate should be real. There were 2 copies made at the time, and I have one here. She stood up and walked to the safe, entered the password and fingerprint to unlock it, and took out the other marriage contract. The 2 marriage contracts were identical when placed together. This scene. Zhao Linger was stunned. This big bad guy, this smelly rascal, is actually my cousin's fiancé. Is the marriage certificate real? Hey, since you admit that I am your wife, let's go get married. Let's get it over with quickly, so that we don't delay the children's schooling later. Honey, do you prefer a daughter or a son? What do you think we should name our child? Yi Wuliang was very pleased. Zhao Linger was dumbfounded. Shen Huowu's mouth twitched after hearing Yi Wuliang's words, and she almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. Is this my fiancé? Are you sure he's not a scoundrel? Chapter 10, such a formidable combat power is shocking. She looked at Yi Wuliang's carefree appearance and immediately felt a sense of rejection. Marry? Have children? Who said I want to marry you? Shen Huowu took a deep breath and looked at Yi Wuliang with a straight face. If you want to be my man, you must pass the test. Even if there is a marriage certificate, it is useless. If you want to force me, all you will get is my body, but not my heart. Shen Huowu's face was full of arrogance. However, well, my dear wife, my goal is to get your body. As long as I get your body, your heart doesn't matter. Science has proven that a melon that is forced to grow will still be sweet. Yi Wuliang looked eager to get married and have sex with her. You. Pop. Shen Huowu suddenly stood up, slamming her 2 hands on the table. Are all martial artists carefully selected by Wu Zhangpeng? Each of them can stand on their own and have the strength to fight a tiger, but in front of this guy, they are actually vulnerable. Shen Huowu was shocked and opened his mouth, looking at Yi Wuliang with a slightly changed look in his eyes, realizing that Yi Wuliang was not just a shameless rascal, but actually had some real skills. Cousin, he's just a bit good at fighting. You mustn't like him. He is a rogue at heart. Zhao Linger hurriedly spoke up and hugged Shen Huowu's arm. The capital of arrogance. It was squeezed and deformed on Shen Huowu's arm. On the ground, Wu Tian'an screamed in agony, his forehead dripping with cold sweat. In his heart, was terrified. Ah, you are the devil, the devil. He screamed in terror. My father is Wu Zhangpeng. He won't let you go. He definitely won't let you go. If you have the guts, let me call my father. He will definitely kill you. Wu Zhangpeng? Ha ha. Yi Wuliang looked down on him. Okay, if you think calling your father will work, then go ahead and call him. I don't care. He shrugged lightly and turned to look at Shen Huowu. Honey, I'll take care of this guy first. After that, we'll go get our marriage certificate. Don't worry. Hearing this, Shen Huowu's forehead was covered with black lines. Who said I was going to get a marriage certificate with you? Don't flatter yourself. Humph, you really are a scoundrel. Zhao Linger whispered. At this moment, Wu Zhangpeng had already received a call from his son. He was in a meeting on the 25th floor of the company. He was furious when he received the call and didn't even bother to attend the meeting. He went straight upstairs. The voice came before the person even arrived. Who dares to touch my son? Don't you want to live? If you don't give me a reasonable explanation today, I'll bury your whole family with you. Wu Zhangping roared, and a few seconds later, he walked in with a tiger-like stride and a face full of anger. Ah, Dad, my leg is broken. Help me avenge myself. Wu Zhangpeng immediately flew into a rage. Damn it! He clenched his fists and looked at Yi Wuliang with lightning-fast eyes. Damn it! How dare you break my son's leg? You must be tired of living. His eyes flashed, and the next second he looked at Shen Huowu. Mr. Shen, what is going on here? Do you also not take me, Wu Zhangpeng, seriously? Hoof. Today you will give me an explanation, or else I, Wu Zhangpeng, will withdraw my shares and leave the Shen Group. Chapter 11, The Nobleman. As soon as he said this, Shen Huowu's expression changed dramatically. Wu Zhangpeng is the core figure of the Shen Group. If he withdraws his shares, it will be a big blow to the Shen Group. Hey, how dare you talk to my wife like that? I broke your son's leg. You should be angry with me, not my wife. Yi Wuliang said. Wu Zhangping's forehead veins bulged. Ha, you little brat, you're not afraid of death, are you? That's good. Then you can give me an explanation. If you can't give me a reasonable explanation, I will break your 3 legs and seek justice for my son many times over. He shouted angrily. Yi Wuliang rolled his eyes in anger. You want to break my 3 legs too? You two are really a family. If you're not a family, you won't enter the same door. At this moment, Wu Zhangpeng was still furious. His anger was so great that he wanted to kill someone. Ha, it's just breaking one of your son's legs. Why get so angry? Anyway, your son won't live past the age of 25. I broke his leg so that he can rest at home and enjoy the last moments of his life. You should be thanking me, not demanding justice. Yi Wuliang spread his hands and made a look of a rogue. Damn it, you're the one who won't live past 25. Dad, don't waste time talking to him. Kill him for me and avenge me. Wu Tian'an immediately roared, grinding his teeth and hating him to the bone. However, Wu Zhangpeng shuddered, staring at Yi Wuliang. You. He wanted to speak, but for a moment he was so stammering that he couldn't speak. Yi Wuliang stretched and laughed. Wu Zhangpeng, right? Hee, don't withdraw your shares, don't make things difficult for my wife. How about this? I'll cure your son and let him live past the age of 25. Of course, you still have to pay the consultation fee. I won't ask for much, 500 million will be enough. He said with a grin. 500 million, that's not too much for your son's life, is it? As soon as he said this, Shen Huowu hurriedly spoke up. Shut up and stop talking nonsense. She was anxious. In her opinion, Yi Wuliang was now wildly provoking Wu Zhangpeng, wildly hitting the other party in the face. Wu Zhangpeng is an extremely important shareholder of the Shen Group. If he withdraws his shares, it will do the Shen Group more harm than good. Uncle Wu, don't worry. I will give you a reasonable explanation for today's events. Please. Shen Huowu said anxiously. But before she could finish, Wu Zhangpeng interrupted her with a raised hand, his eyes fixed on Yi Wuliang. Can you really cure my son and save his life? Are you sure? If you can do this, I can give you not just 500 million, but 1 billion, 2 billion. I can even give you my life. Boom. As soon as he said this, Shen Huowu was struck by lightning, staring with wide eyes in disbelief. Ah, Dad, what do you mean? You're confused. Don't believe this dog's nonsense, Wu Tian'an shouted. Little bastard, shut up. You know nothing, Wu Zhangpeng roared. The next second, he did something that no one could believe. He bent his knees, fell to the ground, and bowed his head. He said, "Please save my son's life, doctor. I'm willing to do anything." Boom, boom, boom. This scene was like thunder, instantly shocking the audience. Wu Tian'an was stunned. Zhao Linger was stunned. Shen Huowu was also stunned. Even Yi Wulian was stunned. This motherfucker, he believed it without a shred of doubt? At this moment, everyone present was dumbfounded. No one expected Wu Zhangpeng to react so strongly, and he was even kneeling on the ground begging. I said you don't suspect me? Do you really believe what I said? Yi Wuliang felt a little unbelievable. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. It's all my fault. Wu Zhangpeng knelt on the ground and wept, revealing the hidden truth of that time. It turned out that when Wu Zhangpeng was young, he was poor and hungry, and when he was 20 years old, he almost died of hunger and cold on the streets. At that time, he had no desire to live, so he threw a piece of sweet potato he had begged to an old beggar who was huddled in the corner of the wall, and he himself waited silently for death. But who would have thought that after the old beggar finished eating the sweet potato, he said that he would give him a chance, help him change his fate against the heavens, and help him reach the pinnacle. Hey, I didn't know the old beggar. It was the first time I met him. At that time, I really didn't want to live. My family was poor from a young age, and several of my siblings died of starvation. I went to the city to work, and my luggage was stolen and my money was robbed. I really had enough of living. It turned out that the old beggar was a god. He struck a golden light on my forehead and said that from then on, my fate would change. But the price was that my offspring would not prosper and would not survive. Even if they did, they would not live past the age of 25. Over the years, I have had 4 children in total, but 3 of them did not live past the age of 5. Only Tian'an survived by a fluke. Wu Zhangpeng told his story, tears falling like rain. Zhao Linger looked at Wu Zhangpeng blankly, while Shen Huowu quickly came forward and helped Wu Zhangpeng up, so that he could stand and speak. Wu Zhangpeng got up and dried his tears, continuing, "It was also from that day on that my luck really changed. In just half a year, I made over 1 million yuan. At the age of 25, I met my current wife, and the following year, we had twins. At the age of 30, I was worth 1 billion. At that time, I had a successful career, a happy family, and 2 children. I had reached the pinnacle of my life. But it was also from that time that my children died one after another. Within 2 months, the twins died in the hospital. I knew that the old beggar's words had come true. But I still remember that when the old beggar left, he said that I would be helped by a noble person in my life, and if I was lucky, I might meet a noble person before I was 60. If I still have children when I meet the nobleman, I will be able to survive the disaster and live a long life." At this point, Wu Zhangpeng once again knelt before Yi Wuliang. "In 3 days, it will be my 60th birthday, and I have never said anything about my son dying young, but you were able to make such a direct statement, so you must be the nobleman from the old beggar's fable." As he said this, Wu Zhangpeng knelt down and begged Yi Wuliang to help. After he finished speaking, Zhao Linger, Shen Huowu, and Wu Tian'an were dumbfounded again, staring in shock, feeling as if they were listening to a fairy tale. "My noble benefactor, please save my son. His health is really getting worse. He was healthy last year, but in recent months he has become increasingly weak. Last week, when we went hiking, he was so tired that he could hardly stand at the foot of the mountain. I know that the old beggar's prophecy will definitely come true. He really won't live past the age of 25. Over the years, I have done good deeds every year, donating tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of dollars every year, only asking for God's mercy and allowing me to wait for a noble person to appear and save my son's life." Wu Zhangpeng knelt on the ground, unable to stop crying. How pitiful are the hearts of parents. Although Wu Tian'an was annoying, his deep love still moved Yi Wuliang. "Hey, it's okay, it's okay. Stop crying, get up quickly. If you keep crying, you'll make my wife's office floor dirty. I saved your son's life." Chapter 12, 500 million, is that too much? Wu Zhangpeng was ecstatic at this news. Yi Wuliang didn't waste any time. He raised his hand and a porcelain bottle appeared in the palm of his hand. He casually threw it to Wu Zhangpeng. Your son is born with a deficiency in his soul and spirit. Take one of these pills every 3 days, and you will live a long life.
Thank you, nobleman. Thank you, nobleman.
Wu Zhangpeng was ecstatic. Your Honor, please give me your account number.
I will give you the money. Forget it, it's only 500 million. Donate it for me. Donate it to an orphanage or a welfare home. Yi Wuliang waved his hand. Don't try anything.
If you dare not donate this money, I won't let you off.
Yes, Your Honor, don't worry, I will definitely donate it.
I am willing to give 10 billion to charity to repay your Honor's kindness.
Wu Zhangpeng spoke earnestly and sincerely.
He carefully put away the pills and had Wu Tian'an, who had a broken leg, carried away. Before he left, he once again thanked Yi Wuliang profusely, and even knelt down and gave him 3 deep bows before leaving.
In the office,
Zhao Linger and Shen Huowu looked at each other in disbelief, unable to believe that all of this was real. Just now, Wu Zhangpeng was so furious that he wanted to tear Yi Wuliang to pieces. But now, he is so grateful. When they think back to the story Wu Zhangpeng told them, they find it unbelievable, like a fairy tale. But what shocked them the most was that Yi Wuliang had refused to keep the 500 million and donated it.
You really don't want the 500 million, you want to donate it, don't you feel bad, that's 500 million?
Zhao Linger looked at him, although she was still calling him a bad guy.
But the way she looked at Yi Wuliang was not as hateful as before. Shen Huowu was the same.
Just now, she thought Yi Wuliang was a rogue and a lecher, but now it seems that this guy is not bad at all, but rather very caring. In addition, he is capable, otherwise he would not have been able to so easily make Wu Zhangpeng willingly give away 500 million.
500 million is not a lot.
I am the son of the Shen Group, and when I marry my wife, half of the Shen Group's assets will be mine.
So do you think I care about those 500 million? Yi Wuliang smiled and said. Upon hearing this, Zhao Linger was stunned. Shen Huowu's expression fell. Honey, now that everything is settled, let's go get married? Yi Wuliang smiled. Get out.
Who is your wife?
Who wants to get a marriage certificate with you?
Shen Huowu, who had just changed her attitude towards Yi Wuliang, was suddenly furious and had the urge to go crazy. Mom thought you were a good person, but I didn't expect you to reveal your true colors so quickly.
Humph. Shen Huowu snorted in anger. At that moment, a figure ran in, panicked. It was Shen Huowu's assistant. Mr. Shen, no, it's bad. Something happened at the pharmaceutical factory again.
Upon hearing this, Shen Huowu's face suddenly turned pale and she almost fell over.
Something happened at the pharmaceutical factory. This sentence was like thunder crashing down on Shen Huowu.
She took 2 steps back, her feet faltering and her balance unstable.
Oh, are you okay, honey?
Yi Wuliang quickly hugged her, and his mouth curved, revealing his white teeth. Don't worry, honey, I won't let you fall. He hugged Shen Huowu, feeling the soft body in his arms, and suddenly his heart was racing and his mouth was watering.
You rascal, don't touch my cousin. Let her go. Zhao Linger pushed Yi Wuliang away angrily.
Yi Wuliang was still immersed in the soft touch of embracing Shen Huowu, and his expression was a mixture of lewdness and enjoyment. His expression made Shen Huowu and Zhao Linger both want to beat him up.
But Shen Huowu had no intention of wasting time on Yi Wuliang, but looked at the assistant. What exactly happened? Tell me quickly. Mr. Shen, there are more workers going crazy at the pharmaceutical factory.
This time, there are more than 30 people, and they are all scratching and fighting after going crazy, injuring more than 10 people.
They have all been sent to the hospital.
The protective work was relatively effective this time, and no video was circulated.
The assistant quickly said.
Hearing that no video had been circulated, Shen Huowu was slightly relieved.
The Shen Group started out in the pharmaceutical industry.
In recent months, workers at the main pharmaceutical factory in Jiangzhou City have gone crazy one after another, causing panic. Rumor has it that the factory is located on a mass grave, and the workers have gone crazy because they have been possessed by ghosts. Such remarks have caused the total sales of Shen's Group's pharmaceutical products to decline by 15% in recent months. This has already had a serious impact on the Shen Group. They have stopped using the area where the workers went crazy to avoid the situation from worsening. But now that it has only been a short while since the incident, and yet another such thing has happened, this has sent Shen Huowu's heart to the bottom of the abyss. If the matter is not resolved and more accidents occur, the impact on the Shen group will be fatal if the news leaks.
What should I do? Shen Huowu was at a loss. Ding dong.
Suddenly, the assistant's cell phone rang. The assistant hurriedly answered the call, and his face immediately changed.
The call was cut off. The assistant looks at Shen Huowu with a pale face.
Shen, Mr. Shen, no, it's bad, the video has been leaked, the video of the workers going crazy has been reported, and it has now been posted on Weibo. Public opinion is not good for us, and the public is saying that our factory is haunted and that they want to boycott us.
Boom. Shen Huowu can no longer hold on and collapses to the ground.
Zhao Linger's pretty face also turned pale.
Cousin, are you okay? Don't scare me. Don't worry. Things will be fine. They will definitely be fine.
Zhao Linger hurriedly comforted her.
Didn't you just say that the video hadn't been leaked? How did it end up trending on Weibo? What's going on?
Shen Huowu shouted in inquiry. The assistant is also a young girl in her 20s, and she is so anxious that she is about to cry.
Standing there, she didn't know what to do.
Her eyes were red and tears were rolling in her eyes. As for Shen Huowu, she was already full of despair. The sales of Shen's group's pharmaceutical products have already dropped by 15%. This time, the incident has become even more serious, and I'm afraid that sales will continue to decline. The Shen group is a large enterprise with huge profits and huge expenses. With such a decline in sales, I'm afraid the shareholders will start to get restless and start causing trouble. If not careful, the Shen group, this giant, will most likely go bankrupt. Just when Shen Huowu felt hopeless and helpless, Yi Wuliang stretched and yawned, speaking in a relaxed tone.
Honey, is there a supernatural incident at your pharmaceutical factory? Do you need me to help you deal with it? I'm the best at exorcism. When I was in the mountains, I often helped the beautiful widows and beautiful sisters in the village below.
No, I mean helping the orphans and widows, left behind children, free exorcism, doing good deeds without leaving a name, etc. He almost let it slip, but quickly covered his mouth, then changed the subject and put on a serious look.
Zhao Linger and Shen Huowu, with their two pairs of beautiful eyes, fixed their gaze on him and said in unison, "You can also drive away evil spirits?"
Really? Their voices were perfectly synchronized, as if they had discussed it beforehand.
Of course I can. What's so difficult about it?
Honey, if you give me a kiss, I'll help you solve the problem at the pharmaceutical factory.
Yi Wuliang smiled and leaned his face towards Shen Huowu. Chapter 13, Jealousy? Shen Huowu quickly calmed down, pushed Yi Wuliang away with a bad temper, and stood up and said, "Can you really help me solve it? If you can really do it, then after you help me solve it, I can kiss you."
The more she said, the redder her face became, and by the end, her voice was so low that it was barely audible. At the company, she is the domineering female president, but in terms of relationships, she is just a rookie with zero experience. Although her voice was very weak, Yi Wuliang heard it clearly and was overjoyed.
Okay, then it's a deal. Don't go back on your word.
Let's go, take me to the pharmaceutical factory, let's get it over with quickly, and then kiss.
He took Shen Huowu away. Shen Huowu froze. Kiss? Who said I was going to kiss you?
I clearly said I could kiss you, but why did it turn into a kiss on the cheek?
Shen Huowu was dumbfounded and once again defeated by Yi Wuliang's cheeky face. In the car.
The driver drove smoothly, and Shen Huowu, Yi Wuliang, and Zhao Linger all sat in the back row. Yi Wuliang shamelessly sat between the two women, claiming that it was convenient for him to protect them. Zhao Linger and Shen Huowu both had doubts about his ability to drive away evil spirits, but they thought that just a few words from him had made Wu Zhengpeng kneel down and kowtow, obediently paying 500 million.
The two women felt that Yi Wuliang seemed to really have some extraordinary abilities, so they wanted to try it.
If the problem with the pharmaceutical factory cannot be solved, then there is no loss, but if it is solved, then for the Shen group, it will be a good thing that allows them to be reborn from the flames and rise like a phoenix. Yi Wuliang closed his eyes to relax, and the two fragrant streams of body odor that came from his mouth and nose made him dizzy with ecstasy. Seeing his face full of enjoyment, the two women were both angry and wanted to punch him in the face.
Ding dong!
Suddenly, just as they were about to arrive at the pharmaceutical factory, Yi Wuliang's phone rang. Yi Wuliang opened his eyes and took out the phone from his pocket, which was already very old and had several cracks on the screen. Zhao Linger and Shen Huowu both glanced at it curiously and immediately turned pale. Because the caller ID read, "Pretty big sister." Pretty big sister? Big bad guy, which one of your girlfriends is calling you again? While flirting with my cousin here, he didn't forget to flirt with other women. He's really eating from the pot and looking at the basin. You're a heartless big radish, huh? Zhao Linger snorted. Her words were tinged with a hint of jealousy, but Zhao Linger herself was unaware of it. Hey, when I came to Jiangzhou City, I was worried about not having a place to stay, so I looked for a place online in advance. This is the landlord calling me. I heard her voice was nice, so I guess she must be a pretty older sister. Don't get me wrong. Yi Wuliang explained. According to the original plan, he came to break off the engagement. After breaking off the engagement, he planned to experience life in the city, then go to other cities to break off the remaining engagements, and then return to the mountains to accompany his teacher's wife, so he found a place to live in advance. This is not his fault. Oomph, you're just a heartless, womanizing man. I've seen through you a long time ago. Zhao Linger said angrily. As she spoke, her chest trembled, and Yi Wuliang's mouth watered. Ah, you rascal, what are you looking at? Zhao Linger hurriedly covered her chest. Yi Wuliang reluctantly moved his eyes away. He hung up the phone without connecting, but only sent a text message to the other party, saying that he had something to deal with and would come over to see the house later. Shen Huowu, who was standing next to him, said in a low voice after a few seconds of silence. If you don't have a place to live, I have an empty house there. You can move in. Oh, my dear wife, are you concerned about me? Oh my god, we just met less than an hour ago, and you're already concerned about me. I'm so touched. Yi Wuliang climbed the ladder, holding Shen Huowu's hand tightly and looking moved. Shen Huowu's eyelids twitched and she pulled her hand out with force. Yi Wuliang said, Dear wife, I appreciate your kindness, but one of my goals for coming down this time is to experience life in the city. Living too well is not conducive to this experience, so I won't be going to your place. Of course, if you are willing to let me move directly into your home and live with you, I would be very happy to do so. Live together? Shen Huowu's face turned red and she said, Stop dreaming. If you want to rent a place, then go ahead. I don't care. After saying that, she turned her head away and didn't look at Yi Wuliang. Yi Wuliang, on the other hand, was very naughty and reached out to grab Shen Huowu's hand. Just as he was about to succeed, the driver suddenly stopped the car. Shen's pharmaceutical factory, here we are. We've arrived. Get out of the car. Shen Huowu pushed open the car door and got out without hesitation. Damn, I almost grabbed my wife's hand. Yi Wuliang sighed and got out of the car. As soon as he got off the bus, he frowned and a solemn look flashed in his eyes. Looking up, he saw a sinister and eerie atmosphere on the west side of the pharmaceutical factory. He could feel a chilling aura hundreds of meters away. Of course. Ordinary people cannot see this aura and ghostly aura, but Yi Wuliang can. The feng shui here has been altered. Someone deliberately wants the Shen group to suffer, so they have tampered with it. Perhaps this is the reason why the workers have gone crazy. Yi Wuliang looked serious and said in a low voice, pointing to the sky in the west, The evil spirits are very strong there. If I am not mistaken, there must be something buried underground there, causing the evil spirits to be rampant and disturbing people's minds. Upon hearing this, Shen Huowu was shocked and looked at Yi Wuliang in shock. Do you really know about this? You're right. The part to the west of the pharmaceutical factory is the part that was shut down and decommissioned. In the beginning, the workers went crazy from there. Shen Huowu's face showed excitement. She felt even more that Yi Wuliang could help solve the problems here. Don't worry, I can help you solve all the problems here, but don't forget to kiss me after it's done. Yi Wuliang pointed to his mouth and said with a mischievous smile. Shen Huowu blushed and lowered her head. Seeing her shy expression, Yi Wuliang was even more excited, and his handsome face was beaming with a smile. You big bad guy, you better solve the problem quickly, don't just flirt with my cousin. If you really can solve the problem for Shen's pharmaceutical, not only will my cousin kiss you, I can kiss you too as a reward. Zhao Linger said. Chapter 14, So handsome, so awesome. Oh, big-breasted girl, you want to kiss me too? You're not falling for me because you're attracted to this handsome face, are you?
After saying that, Yi Wuliang suddenly widened his eyes and protected himself tightly. You wouldn't want to sleep with me again, would you? Oh no, I'm not that kind of person. You.
Zhao Linger spat blood in anger, and her silver teeth clenched.
She lifted her foot and kicked Yi Wuliang's calf hard. Ah, it hurts so much.
But after kicking, Yi Wuliang did not react, but Zhao Linger was in pain and could not help but cry out in pain, angrily saying, Why are your legs so hard?
Is there a steel plate hidden inside?
It hurts my girl to death. Whether there is a steel plate or not, you have to take off your pants to find out.
Do you want to see? Yi Wuliang said. Zhao Linger's face turned red and she looked at Yi Wuliang angrily. Yi Wuliang laughed and didn't continue to tease. He walked towards the inside and headed straight for the West Factory building.
Zhao Linger and Shen Huowu followed closely behind. The Shen pharmaceutical factory covers an area of over 100 acres. The west wing of the factory, which has been closed down, is almost 1/5 of the entire factory. Not to mention the impact of public opinion on the Shen pharmaceutical factory, just the large area of the factory being shut down is enough to have an impact on the Shen pharmaceutical factory. Stepping into the area that had been sealed off, the temperature suddenly dropped, making people feel a bit chilly. The cool air penetrated their clothes and seeped into their flesh, causing Shen Huowu and Zhao Linger to shiver involuntarily. The further they went, the lower the temperature became, and the atmosphere became more and more eerie. The air was a little bit gloomy, and it seemed as if there were ghosts in the shadows watching them, making people feel uneasy. Big bad guy, I'm scared. You protect me, I'm scared.
Zhao Linger was shaking with fear, clinging to Yi Wuliang's arm like a sloth, afraid to let go.
The soft parts of her body had already been deformed by Yi Wuliang's arm, and she didn't even realize it.
Ah, it's so soft and comfortable. Yi Wuliang's expression was lewd, as if he was enjoying himself. At this time, his other arm was also tightly held by Shen Huowu, who dared not let go.
The two women clung to his arm tightly, feeling that the surrounding environment was too eerie, and that it made them feel fear from the bottom of their hearts.
Ah, no, I mean, you two are like this, I won't be able to hold back. You two are so open-minded. Be more reserved. I like reserved women. Yi Wuliang let out a wailing of enjoyment. And just then,
suddenly, the sky darkened, as if a storm was coming. At the same time, a dark aura, with a cold breath, turned into a fanged ghost and rushed towards Yi Wuliang, Shen Huowu, and Zhao Linger.
The evil spirit was terrifying and silent. In an instant, the ghosts howled, the evil spirits screamed, and the terrifying sound of ghosts tore the eardrums. Ah, ghosts, ghosts! The two women suddenly turned pale, screaming in terror, their bodies clinging to Yi Wuliang as if they were vines around a tree. The sudden upheaval made the two women panic and tremble with fear.
They clung to Yi Wuliang's body, only in this way could they feel a little bit of safety.
Soft jade on the back.
Yi Wuliang's heart was racing, and he almost took off in place. But at this moment, the hideous ghostly face had already attacked, with a rolling, terrifying aura, like the mouth of an abyss, ready to devour anyone it chose. If it swallowed someone, there would be no survivors, and the temperature around them would quickly drop, and the ground would suddenly freeze over.
Humph, such a petty trick, and you dare to show off your skills in front of me? Such a petty spirit, go back.
Yi Wuliang sneered and shouted angrily.
Boom!
Lightning flashed and a storm suddenly arose. His roar was so loud that it turned into thunder, and his words into wind. In an instant, the thunderstorm turned into a golden light, and the ghostly aura was shattered.
This scene.
In the eyes of Zhao Linger and Shen Huowu, Yi Wuliang seemed like a god had descended, suppressing evil spirits and destroying demonic spirits with a smile, his awe-inspiring presence indescribable.
Oh my god, he is so handsome and so powerful.
The two girls' eyes filled with stars.
At this moment, Yi Wuliang's image of a towering, glorious man took root in the hearts of the two women.
Everyone is afraid of him, and Yi Wuliang is the world-shaking strong man who can resolve a crisis with a single shout in such a dangerous situation.
Such a strong and domineering man. Who wouldn't fall in love with him? Evil spirits should not exist in the world.
The power of the gods blesses my god. The laws of heaven and earth shine in the 8 directions.
The power of the 5 elements, the demons and evil spirits are destroyed. Yi Wuliang roared again. In an instant, he blasted out with a palm.
The golden light from his palm shot out, illuminating the sky, and the area within hundreds of meters was enveloped in golden light. As the golden palm exploded, the entire western factory area, which had been sealed off and filled with murderous energy, was enveloped in sunlight. In just a few seconds, the evil aura disappeared without a trace, and the ghostly silence was gone. It seems that everything has returned to normal. Ah, this is so warm, it doesn't seem so cold here anymore. Has the problem been solved? Shen Huowu felt the change in the surrounding environment and immediately opened her mouth in surprise, her face full of excitement. Zhao Linger was still immersed in the horror of the scene and clung to Yi Wuliang, not daring to let go. She was like a sloth, clinging to Yi Wuliang's back, and the aroma from her body kept entering Yi Wuliang's nose and mouth. Chapter 15, Kiss Me and I'll Tell You. Big-breasted girl, don't stick so close. I'm a normal man in every way. If you keep sticking so close, I won't be able to hold back. Don't blame me if I accidentally do something to you. Upon hearing this, Zhao Linger was so scared that she quickly let go of him, turned around and hugged Shen Huowu, hiding behind him. Now she was afraid of both ghosts and Yi Wuliang. You rotten rascal, you bad rascal, you only know how to think about women. Zhao Linger hid behind her cousin and stamped her feet angrily. Yi Wuliang shrugged his shoulders with ease. The problem has been solved. I just defeated the evil spirits and destroyed the Yin array. Come with me, he said, and walked ahead at a brisk pace. The two women followed closely, and after walking about 100 meters, they came to the back of the dormitory building. Yi Wuliang pointed at the ground and said, "Well, let someone come and dig. The problem is right here. Although the Yin array has been destroyed, if the things underneath are not dug out and disposed of, there will be hidden dangers in the future, so it needs to be disposed of quickly." Well, I'll get someone to come over right away. Shen Huowu called the workers. Soon, workers came with shovels and hoes, and an excavator was also brought in. Under Yi Wuliang's guidance, the ground was dug up. Just less than 2 meters into the ground, a dark skeleton appeared before everyone, and at the same time, a stench came from the ground. The workers vomited frantically, as if they wanted to vomit their gallbladders. Zhao Linger and Shen Huowu covered their noses and kept backing away. It took a long time for the stench to dissipate. When they came to the pit and saw the dark skeleton, both women were scared and pale. What kind of animal skeleton is this? It looks like a dog. Zhao Linger thought to herself. Yes, it is the skeleton of a dog, and it is a black dog. After the black dog died, it was covered in human corpse oil and burned in a fire to prevent it from entering the cycle of reincarnation, thus causing the dog corpse to generate resentment. After the dog corpse was buried here, it would take a month or 3 months for the evil spirits to rise, disturbing people's minds and driving them crazy. That is, you have sealed off the West Factory district here. If it had not been sealed off in time, I am afraid that the people affected would not just go crazy, but would completely lose their minds and kill each other. If that happens, and the news of the Shen Group pharmaceutical factory workers going crazy and killing each other gets reported, the Shen Group will not only lose a little money, but will be drowned by public opinion. Yi Wuliang said slowly. When he said this, he rarely showed a serious expression and did not take advantage of his words. But when these words fell into Shen Huowu's ears, they made her pale and she took a few steps back. Who is this person? How could they use such a vicious method against our Shen family? It's so hateful, really hateful. She immediately became angry. Yi Wuliang shrugged, I don't know. Think about who the Shen family's enemies are and slowly investigate them. After that, he looked at the person who was leading the digging. This person is not a worker, but the director of the Shen pharmaceutical factory. Get rid of the dog's corpse. Go find some grains and rice. You know what grains and rice are, right? Each kind should be 9 jin and 9 liang. Then pour them into the pit together, bury the dog's corpse with the grains and rice, and then cover it with soil. In this way, the dog corpse will not produce evil spirits in the future. That's it. He then took out some yellow talismans and threw them to the factory manager. The pharmaceutical factory is so big, so there must be doors in the north, south, east and west, right? At the entrance and exit gates in the 4 directions, pry open the ground 1 foot and 3 inches, and bury these 4 talismans in them. In this way, no one will be able to come here to meddle with the feng shui and set up an evil array. Hearing this, The factory manager respectfully took the talismans and hurriedly arranged for someone to go to the canteen to get 5 grains.
Where did you get those talismans from? Zhao Linger asked curiously.
She had just seen Yi Wuliang turn his hand over, and without taking anything out of his pocket or his breast pocket, the talisman appeared in his hand. This made her very surprised and curious.
Hearing Zhao Linger's question, Yi Wuliang's face once again showed a mischievous smile, and he leaned forward to Zhao Linger. Big-breasted girl, you want to know, right? Kiss me and I'll tell you.
Hey! After that, Yi Wuliang smiled wickedly.
Zhao Linger's face turned black. But just then, a soft touch suddenly appeared on Yi Wuliang's face.
It was smooth, soft, and comfortable, and it struck right at his soul. Yi Wuliang suddenly froze. He turned his head and saw Shen Huowu, who was blushing and backing away, had actually kissed him. This little mouth, kissing on the face, is really soft and fragrant.
Chapter 16, Hitting is Affection, Scolding is Love.
I promised you that as long as you solve the problem, I will kiss you. Shen Huowu explained with a flushed face. Yi Wuliang touched his cheek and smiled wickedly. Honey, you kissed me so suddenly that I didn't even react.
Well, that wasn't a real kiss.
He shamelessly moved his face closer.
You wish. Shen Huowu pushed him away.
The workers who had not yet left were petrified and stood still. They stared at the scene in shock, their eyes wide and mouths agape.
What did I see? Our beautiful president, Shen Huowu, one of the 3 most beautiful women in Jiangzhou, actually kissed this loser? And she was called his wife? Oh, I'm heartbroken. Ms. Shen has a boyfriend. I don't want to live anymore.
A young worker standing behind her suddenly felt as if he had lost his mother.
Hearing this,
everyone looked at him with contempt. Then they continued to look at Shen Huowu in shock, and then looked at Yi Wuliang with envy and jealousy.
Hey, what are you looking at? Isn't it natural for my wife to kiss me? It's normal to kiss.
You kiss me, I kiss her.
Is that a big deal? We're making babies tonight.
Yi Wuliang said with a smug look on his face. As soon as he said this, everyone was petrified again. Shen Huowu's face instantly turned red like a ripe cherry. She took 2 steps forward and grabbed Yi Wuliang's soft flesh at his waist and twisted it hard. Oh, my dear wife, please be merciful, I'm going to die.
Yi Wuliang let out a miserable cry.
Although he was highly skilled and felt no pain, his miserable howl was like a cat being stepped on its tail, and Shen Huowu immediately let go, worried that she had hurt him.
Are you okay? Did I hurt you? Let me rub your back.
She hurriedly helped Yi Wuliang rub his back with her soft, delicate hands.
Crack, crack.
The hearts of the young workers around him immediately shattered. They were certain that their goddess had already found a husband.
Yi Wuliang took Shen Huowu's hand and laughed. It doesn't hurt.
It's love that hurts. A little pinch from my wife doesn't hurt at all, it's full of love. Shen Huowu's cheeks turned even redder. She tried to pull her hand out, but after several attempts, she gave up and let Yi Wuliang hold her hand. She just lowered her head, too embarrassed to look at anyone.
The workers left one after another.
Less than 10 minutes later, the person in charge returned with the grains, and under Yi Wuliang's supervision, poured the grains into the pit and then filled it with soil.
Is that all? Will there be no more accidents in the future? Shen Huowu asked in a low voice. Well, it's fine.
In the future, just plant some flowers and plants on top, and put some tables and chairs in this open space.
This is right behind the dormitory.
Put some tables and chairs here and turn it into a garden. In the future, when the employees come here, this will accumulate a lot of positive energy. In a few months, the dog corpse under the ground will completely decay and turn into soil, and there will be no hidden dangers. Yi Wuliang said seriously, and his hand still held Shen Huowu's jade hand.
Zhao Linger couldn't stand it anymore.
You rascal, when are you going to let go of my cousin's hand? Cousin, tell him to let go. Don't forget, this guy still has to go to his beautiful older sister's place to rent a room. This heartless radish, eating from the pot and looking at the basin, is the most hateful.
Zhao Linger still remembered this. Hearing this,
Shen Huowu immediately looked up at Yi Wuliang, and a flash of murderous intent flashed in her eyes.
Hey, wife, your eyes are so scary. Yi Wuliang was shocked.
Are you still going to rent a place?
Shen Huowu asked. Of course I have to rent a place. Didn't I say that I would need to experience a lot of things on this trip down the mountain?
The Zhao family villa or your empty house are definitely too luxurious and not conducive to my experience.
Yi Wulian laughed, but his words were a bit guilty.
Shen Huowu and Zhao Linger looked at each other, and then the two sisters immediately spoke in unison as if they had agreed on something.
Well, since we're going to rent a house, let's go with you and help you keep an eye on things so you don't get cheated.
The two sisters' words were exactly the same, not a single word was wrong.
Yi Wulian was stunned. Damn it! You are cousins, not sisters. Could it be that cousins have telepathic powers and can speak in perfect unison? Let's go. I'm your fiancé.
Since you're going to see a pretty older sister, and since you're going to rent a house, I'll help you look at it.
Is that okay? Shen Huowu took Yi Wulian's arm and said with a hint of jealousy in her tone. Chapter 17, Everyone is stunned. When they first met,
Shen Huowu felt a deep-seated dislike for this guy. But now, without realizing it, she actually finds Yi Wulian full of masculine charm, and also has a sense of crisis. Such an outstanding man must be kept under control, and not allowed to sow his wild oats, or else it will be you who suffers.
Ah, I want to go with you.
I want to join my cousin in her hatred of you, and see which of your pretty older sisters is the most beautiful.
Zhao Linger also ran over and said.
Shen Huowu was full of confidence. As one of the three most beautiful women in Jiangzhou, she thought she was first-rate in both looks and figure.
Shen Huowu thought to herself, pretty big sister? Maybe she just has a nice voice and a plain face and body?
This time, she was going to go and see what the other person was really like, and she was even more determined to crush the other person with her absolute superiority, so that Yi Wulian would know that compared to her, Shen Huowu, other women were all mediocre.
Let's go. First, take me home.
I need to shower and change clothes, and then I'll go with you to look at houses.
Shen Huowu said.
Her tone was unmistakable.
Well, okay.
Yi Wulian agreed with a depressed tone.
2 hours later. Jiangzhou, urban village. Shen Huowu got off the car in full dress.
After dressing up and reapplying makeup, she was beautiful and charming, with an unparalleled temperament. Compared to just now, her appearance and temperament had obviously risen to a higher level. As soon as she got off the car, she attracted countless hot looks.
Shen Huowu frowned slightly. Yi Wulian, this is where you rent a place? A village in the city? A bungalow? You're going to live here? Shen Huowu was stunned.
She originally thought Yi Wulian was just joking about renting a place to live, and that he was just here for the beautiful older sister. But after arriving in the urban village, she suddenly felt that she had misunderstood Yi Wulian. Yi Wulian didn't think too much about it, and shrugged lightly. Yeah, I saw pictures online. The place for rent is very clean, and the yard is more than 100 square meters.
I grew up in the mountains. I'm not used to living in a villa, I like to live in a bungalow. Is there a problem? He was serious. Shen Huowu's mouth twitched, but she didn't say anything.
At this moment, a voice came from the side.
Hey, what a pretty girl. What is this young lady doing in our urban village? Would you mind having a drink with me and chatting about life and ideals?
Before he finished speaking, a short, fat bald man, accompanied by several rowdy-looking men, walked toward Shen Huowu. The fat bald man's eyes were fixed on Shen Huowu. Beautiful, really too beautiful, a fairy descending to earth, that's about it.
He was so mesmerized that he completely ignored Yi Wulian.
At this time, Zhao Linger also got off the car, and the fat bald guy's eyes were about to pop out.
In this city and village, most of them are ordinary people. Where can you see such beautiful women?
It is difficult to see one on an ordinary day, but today, such top-notch beauties can be seen at once.
Ah, Grandpa, I'm so blessed. 2 beauties, let's go have a drink and chat about life. And I just bought a new house, the bed in my new house is big and comfortable.
The short, fat bald man's eyes were shining, and his saliva was about to drip out. The little brothers behind him were all staring at Shen Huowu and Zhao Linger like wolves.
As for Yi Wulian, they had already collectively ignored him as if he were air. Who would pay attention to him when there are such stunning beauties in front of him?
Any man with a functioning brain would ignore him and only pay attention to the 2 heavenly beauties Shen Huowu and Zhao Linger.
Hey, little black fat guy, you're flirting with my wife in front of me, and you're ignoring me? Get out of here and stop showing off. Yi Wuliang spoke and drove them away. At this moment, the short, fat bald man noticed Yi Wuliang. There's another person?
Beat him half to death and throw him in the trash, so that this kid doesn't delay me from picking up girls.
The short, fat bald man glanced at Yi Wuliang and said coldly.
Before he finished speaking, immediately, several of his subordinates stepped forward, looking at Yi Wuliang with a sneer and ready to attack.
Don't be afraid, ladies. I only attack men, I would never bully women. As long as you two follow me for a drink, I guarantee you will be safe.
He smiled lewdly. Yi Wuliang became more and more angry as he listened. At this time, the bald-headed brothers had already come to his front, and Yi Wuliang sighed and suddenly attacked.
Boom, boom, boom.
His fist suddenly blasted out, leaving a series of afterimages.
No one could see clearly how he had made the move. But it was only a flash.
All of the bald brothers were blown away by the fist.
It was less than half a second.
The bald brothers all fell to the ground, leaving only the bald man standing.
Chapter 18 Daydreaming. What? What's going on? The bald guy's face suddenly changed, and his pupils contracted. What's going on? What's going on?
Get up, kill this kid.
Hurry up.
He kept yelling, but the little brothers were lying on the ground, covering the places where Yi Wuliang's fists had hit them, moaning in pain and not having the strength to get up.
Yi Wuliang came up to the bald guy. A loud slap landed on his face.
The bald man screamed, spitting out blood from his mouth, and two of his teeth fell out. He stared at Yi Wuliang in horror. But before he could say anything, Yi Wuliang grabbed his neck. Hey, I gave you a chance to get out of here, but you didn't appreciate it.
Since that's the case, I'll just have to teach you a lesson. Pat, pat, pat. The slaps fell like they were free, 7 or 8 in a row.
The bald man's face was swollen like a pig, and he almost fainted when he fell to the ground.
Get out of here. Get as far away as possible. If you see me again, you'll have to go around. If you do it again, I'll kill you. Yi Wuliang issued an ultimatum.
The bald man was terrified.
You wait for me. I will definitely not let you go. You wait.
He said in a panic, and immediately got up with his little brothers, staggering and stumbling as they fled the scene.
Hey, wife, don't pay attention to these idiots, let's go.
Yi Wuliang then smiled at Shen Huowu, and then naturally took her hand and walked inside. Her hand was once again taken, and Shen Huowu's face turned red uncontrollably. After entering the urban village, they walked through several streets and came to a house. Yi Wuliang glanced at the door number and knocked on it. Soon, the gate opened and a burst of fragrance wafted over.
Yi Wuliang's eyes widened as the person who opened the door appeared in front of him.
Oh! What a beautiful older sister! The person in front of him was wearing loose pajamas, her hair was down, and she seemed to have just washed her hair. Her cheeks were as white as snow, and she didn't wear any makeup, but she had a mature beauty. This woman is already over 40, but she seems to be well maintained and looks about 30. She exudes a mature charm, and her body is full of charm. She has the right amount of flesh in the right places, and no extra flesh in places where it shouldn't be. She is simply the best of the best.
Yi Wuliang was instantly stunned. Hello, are you Mr. Yi?
The woman spoke first.
Yes, I'm here to rent the house. It's rented. I'm renting it for a year.
Yi Wuliang shouted subconsciously.
Ah. The other party was stunned. You haven't even looked inside. You don't need to see it, it's rented, for a year. Here's the rent. Keep it. I have the money ready. Yi Wuliang took out the cash directly, slapped it in the other person's hand, and looked determined. There are 5 apartments in the compound.
The beautiful landlord lives alone in one room, and the rest are for rent.
Yi Wuliang is the first tenant. At this moment,
Yi Wuliang thought that he would be living in the same courtyard with this gem of a woman, and his heart suddenly blossomed with joy.
Yi, you really have no scruples. I didn't think you would like this. Suddenly,
Shen Huowu's voice rang in his ears, and at the same time, Shen Huowu's jade hands once again pinched Yi Wuliang's soft flesh at the waist and forcefully flipped it 180 degrees. Cousin, I told you he was a heartless man, eating from the pot and looking at the basin.
Zhao Linger snorted.
Yi Wuliang suddenly looked miserable. He was finished. He was overjoyed, forgetting that Shen Huowu was right beside him. Aren't you very happy, thinking that you can live in the same courtyard with her in the future? I'm telling you, stop daydreaming. Shen Huowu snorted. After that, she walked directly into the courtyard and called out to the landlord, "Hey, lady, do you have any more rooms available? I'll rent them all and live here in the future." Upon hearing this, the landlord and Yi Wuliang were both stunned. Zhao Linger was also a little confused. Shen Huowu turned to Yi Wuliang and smiled, "I'm moving in too, to prevent some people from flirting with other women." On hearing this, Yi Wuliang was not unhappy at all, but almost burst into laughter. This. From now on, not only can I live in the same compound as the beautiful landlord, but I can also live with my beautiful wife. This happiness is too sudden, isn't it? That's great. You can move in too. But you don't need to rent a room by yourself. We are a couple, I think it's enough for us to live in the same room, and it's good to save money to buy milk powder for the baby later. Yi Wuliang laughed. Oh, really? You're still thinking about saving money? Shen Huowu looked at him with a smile on his face, but Yi Wuliang was still trembling and feeling guilty. Chapter 19 Trouble Strikes. In the courtyard, Shen Huowu arranged for someone to buy some furniture and move it into the house. Yi Wuliang was walking by the small vegetable garden in the courtyard, leisurely and elegantly drinking tea, and chatting with Aunt Run. Auntie Run's husband died young, and she has raised her daughter on her own for all these years. Now that her daughter is studying at a university far away, she has opened an online shop at home and makes handicrafts herself. The monthly sales are not high, but because they are all handmade, the unit price is relatively expensive, and she earns about 4,000 to 5,000 yuan a month. Now that her daughter is in college and the expenses have increased, she is under some financial pressure. That's why she thought of renting out the empty room in her house. After chatting for a while, Auntie Run went back to her room. You really know how to enjoy yourself. I arranged for someone to move the furniture, and you just sit here drinking tea? After Shen Huowu finished her busy work, she walked over angrily and grabbed his ear. Yi Wuliang immediately begged for mercy. You and Auntie Run were just having a great time chatting. Tell me, what were you talking about? Oh, my dear, let go of me, you're hurting me. What are you asking all these questions for? Are you jealous? Jealous? Shen Huowu immediately blushed and angrily said, "Who would be jealous of you, a big lecher? You're thinking too much. Hey, you're clearly jealous. I can tell." Yi Wuliang turned around and suddenly hugged Shen Huowu into his arms, letting her sit on his lap. Shen Huowu's slightly flushed cheeks suddenly turned bright red. She tried to get up and leave, but Yi Wuliang held her tightly and she couldn't get away. You be honest, Shen Huowu said with a blush on her face, her voice shy and weak as a mosquito's chirp. It's okay, Zhao Linger isn't here, the furniture movers have all gone, and Auntie Run is in the house, so no one will see me, so let me hold her for a while. Yi Wuliang was very cheeky and smirked, and his hands began to get restless. Shen Huowu's body trembled, her face turned even redder, and her ears became hot. She wanted to resist, but she was limp and had no strength. Just as Yi Wuliang was about to put his hand inside her clothes and prepare to scale new heights. Boom! The door was violently kicked open, and a group of people stormed in. Ah! Shen Huowu screamed in fright. She jumped up, her face turning red, wishing she could find a crack in the ground to crawl into. At a time like this, if someone barged in and she was seen, it would be a real embarrassment. Damn you, you bunch of bastards, ruining my good time. Yi Wuliang's face was as black as ink. You bastards! If you had come a minute later, I would have reached the peak. Damn it, who are you? What do you mean by kicking the door? Yi Wuliang got up in anger. As soon as he stood up, a short, fat bald man with a limp came forward, pointing angrily at Yi Wuliang and yelling, "Boss, this little bastard beat me." Ha! Yi Wuliang immediately realized that this was trouble when he saw the short, fat bald man. I thought it was someone else, but it's just the little bald guy. What, you've come with your boss to settle a score? Yi Wuliang sat back down, crossed his legs and looked at the bald man leisurely. Shen Huowu had already ducked into the house, not out of fear, but out of shame. Just now Yi Wuliang's hand had already reached into her clothes, and then the group of people kicked in the door. She was so embarrassed that she didn't know how to face everyone, so she could only hide her face and hide in the house.
Humph, you little brat, you can still laugh? You're going to die. How dare you lay a hand on me, you little bastard? Do you really think that on this tiny plot of land, you, an outsider, can get away with it?
The short, fat bald man roared with clenched teeth, his eyes spitting fire, his teeth clattering, as if he wanted to bite his back teeth to pieces.
The brothers who followed him also looked at Yi Wuliang with ill intent.
The one standing in front of them was their leader, Brother Hu. Brother Hu was also bald, but he was extremely tall and muscular, looking like he was 1.85 meters tall. He had a body like a fitness trainer, with muscle bulges all over. He didn't say a word, but just standing there, he exuded a strong sense of oppression that made people shudder. Of course, Yi Wuliang could not feel this kind of pressure. After all, as a Supreme Realm expert, no one can bring him a sense of oppression, not to mention a person, even a ferocious tiger, can't make him feel the slightest bit of tension and oppression.
Chapter 20, A Blind Cat Fighting a Tiger.
Little brat, you dare to show off in front of Brother Tiger.
I see you really haven't died before, so you're not afraid of death, right? I'll tell you.
My boss is a martial artist, he can kill a cow with one punch. If you know what's good for you, you'll immediately kneel down and apologize to me, and then pay me 100,000 yuan in compensation. Otherwise, you'll be waiting for Brother Hu to break all your bones. The bald man roared angrily. Brother Tiger never opened his mouth, but his eyes were like a tiger hunting down a mountain, staring at Yi Wuliang with a fierce gaze.
Humph.
As soon as the short, fat bald man finished speaking, Brother Tiger let out a snort of anger and finally spoke.
Did you just injure my brothers and men? Do you know that they all work for me?
Brother Tiger's voice was low and booming. I don't want to waste time or make a big deal of this.
How about this?
You cut off one of your arms, and I'll pretend nothing happened.
Now you can do it.
After that, he crossed his arms and looked at Yi Wuliang with a smug look on his face.
Damn, you're quite capable of acting like a jerk. Yi Wuliang couldn't help but complain. What did you say?
Brother Hu's eyes darkened. You're quite arrogant.
It seems you're not going to cut off your arm, right? Humph, if I'm going to cut off my arm, do you think you're qualified to do it?
Yi Wuliang sneered. He slowly got up and looked at Tiger and the people he brought with him.
In an instant, a terrifying, mountain-like aura suddenly emanated from Yi Wuliang.
Facing these street thugs, Yi Wuliang had no desire to fight. If he fought every time, it would be an insult to himself as a Supreme Realm Master. You don't need a big knife to kill a chicken, and a tiger doesn't need to use all its strength to fight a rabbit. As the momentum in his body exploded, Brother Tiger and the others' faces changed dramatically, their bodies suddenly bending over, hunching their backs, unable to stand up straight, and their legs shaking wildly. It was because Yi Wuliang's momentum was too strong that everyone present felt as if there was a weight of 100,000 catties pressing down on their backs, making it impossible for them to stand up straight. Plop, plop. Soon, some people could no longer stand and collapsed to the ground. In just a few seconds, no one was still in a fighting condition, all of them collapsed or fell to the ground on their knees. Tiger, who was in the front row, was as pale as death, and beads of cold sweat were dripping from his forehead like raindrops. At this moment, Brother Hu fell to the ground, feeling cold all over his body, as if he had fallen into an ice cave. Yi Wuliang had no intention of fighting, but his aura alone was enough to make them kneel down.
What a realm, what a powerful person.
Brother Hu realized that this young man, who looked young and had a somewhat thin build, was someone he could not afford to provoke. If he didn't provoke this person, he would be like a blind cat fighting a tiger, and he would be seeking death.
Ah, please spare my life, senior. I was a dog looking down on people, and I didn't know that you were living in seclusion here.
I came here to bother you without permission, so please forgive me.
I deserve to die. I shouldn't have come looking for trouble.
Brother Hu trembled and fell to the ground, his whole body filled with fear, as if a tidal wave had washed over him.
Ha, Brother Tiger, right?
Yi Wuliang said indifferently.
Ah, no, you can just call me Huowu, or you can just call me Huowu.
In front of a senior, Huowu, I dare not be rash, and I am not qualified to be rash in front of you. Brother Hu spoke in a trembling voice, and his attitude was completely different from just now. The previous Brother Hu was arrogant and domineering, and he didn't take Yi Wuliang seriously at all. But now, when he faces Yi Wuliang, he is like seeing his own ancestor, and is extremely respectful. When he looked at the short, fat bald man and the others, he was even more scared to death. They were trembling like a sieve, their faces pale as snow. Some of the less courageous ones were so scared that they had lost their color and their pants were soaked with fear. Gee, what a disgrace. Yi Wulian looked at the men in their wet pants and couldn't help but show contempt. The mountain of pressure gradually subsided. Who? At the moment the pressure was withdrawn, Brother Hu completely collapsed, gasping for breath and his clothes were completely soaked through. Brother Hu is indeed a martial artist. He could also be called a cultivator, but his realm is only the beginner's realm of refining the muscles, bones, and skin. The path of cultivation, refining the sinews, bones, skin, the internal organs, the earth element, the heavenly element, the martial arts master. The refining of the muscles, bones and skin is only the most basic and lowest level of cultivation. Such a level is good enough to show off to ordinary people, but when you really encounter a master, you are just a cannon fodder. Ah, thank you, senior, for sparing my life. After catching his breath, Brother Hu hurriedly bowed to express his gratitude, and his eyes were full of awe when he looked at Yi Wuliang. Chapter 21, Spicy Crawfish. Get out of here. If you ever come back here again, I'll chop off your heads. Yi Wuliang said coldly. Yes, we'll leave right away. Brother Hu hurriedly agreed. Immediately, without any hesitation, they fled like defeated soldiers, dragging their younger brothers with them. They came in a threatening manner, but left in a disheveled state. The fat bald guy didn't even dare to say a word, and left in a very embarrassing state, carrying his wet pants that were soaked with urine. They all ran like crazy, not daring to stop, and only stopped when they had returned to their base camp. They all sat down on the ground, panting heavily. Oh my god, that was close. I thought I was going to die. I really escaped from death this time. Brother Hu said with a scared look on his face. The same goes for the short, fat bald guy. But this guy obviously likes to die. After catching his breath, he leaned over to Brother Tiger and said in a low voice, Brother Tiger, that kid was pretty scary just now. Let's go back tonight and sneak up on him and kill him. On hearing this, Brother Tiger looked at him sharply, his eyes bulging. Ah, Brother Tiger, what are you looking at me like that for? I. The short, fat bald guy suddenly felt guilty. Bang! Brother Tiger didn't waste any words, and slapped him in the face, knocking him to the ground. Damn it, you stupid bastard, you're not afraid of death because you've never died, right? If you want to die, go ahead and die yourself. Don't drag me down, of evil spirits as soon as they arrived at the door. So now Yi Wuliang is showing this expression, and she thought it was haunted again, so she couldn't help but show fear. You're thinking too much. There aren't that many supernatural events in the world. I just sensed that there were cultivators fighting, probably about a kilometer away. Gee, the battle seems to be fierce, life and death. Yi Wuliang said with a pouting mouth, and then stood up. Wait for me at home. I'll go and take a look. Although she could sense that there was a battle going on, and that it was fierce, she had to go there herself to see it, since she was so far away. I'll go with you. Shen Huowu grabbed Yi Wuliang. Ha! Yi Wuliang looked at her in surprise. What are you going to do there? Aren't you afraid of danger? If there is danger, you can protect me. Shen Huowu said matter-of-factly, then immediately added, somewhat embarrassed, I haven't seen a battle between cultivators before. I'm a little curious and want to go and watch. After saying that, Shen Huowu was a little worried. Will it be dangerous there? If I go with you, will I slow you down? Why don't you go by yourself? I'm not going. She pouted, worried that she would be a burden to Yi Wuliang, and immediately backed down. Yi Wuliang looked at her cute appearance and couldn't help but laugh. He had never imagined that Shen Huowu, this stunning beauty, could be so cute and innocent. Honey, don't worry about dragging me down. Your man is awesome. Even if he brought 10 more of you, he wouldn't drag me down. You can rest assured. As Yi Wuliang laughed, he directly hugged Shen Huowu's waist. Honey, hold on to me, I'll take you off the ground. Before he finished speaking, Yi Wuliang disappeared with Shen Huowu, and in less than half a minute, they were a kilometer away. The speed was like a bolt of lightning. In fact, Yi Wuliang had deliberately slowed down. He thought that if he went full speed, he would definitely scare Shen Huowu, so he slowed down and it took half a minute to arrive. Otherwise, for him, this 1 kilometer distance would have been a matter of seconds.
This is a park. At this moment, the battle seems to have ended.
In a small grove in the park, a strong smell of blood is wafting in the air.
A dead man's body is lying on the ground, lifeless.
Yi Wuliang brought Shen Huowu to this grove.
Shen Huowu immediately turned pale when she saw the corpse and tightly hugged Yi Wuliang.
Yi Wuliang was enjoying the soft jade in his arms.
My wife is not afraid. I'm here, everything is fine, everything is fine.
Yi Wuliang smiled wickedly, and as he spoke, his palm kept stroking Shen Huowu's back. He thought to himself, bringing Shen Huowu here was really the right choice.
Ah, there seems to be another person there.
Suddenly, Shen Huowu screamed and hid in Yi Wuliang's arms, pointing in a trembling direction with her outstretched finger.
Yes, I see it. Yi Wuliang nodded.
On the way here, he had noticed that there was someone hiding in the dark, but he had been too busy comforting Shen Huowu in his arms to pay any attention to him.
Yi Wuliang sensed that the person hiding was seriously injured.
If he wasn't seriously injured, he wouldn't have lingered here, and he wouldn't have hidden, and he wouldn't have been discovered by Shen Huowu, who was just an ordinary person with no cultivation. Yi Wuliang hugged Shen Huowu, who was a little scared, and headed towards the place where the person was hiding. At the same time, he exuded a sense of power. The person hiding in the dark suddenly felt his whole body stiffen, as if he were wrapped in cement and crushed by a boulder, unable to move at all. Very quickly, Yi Wuliang came to a tree, behind the thick trunk of which lay a woman who had been seriously injured.
Chapter 23, Villa Mandala.
The woman had more than 10 wounds, and blood was constantly flowing. Several of the wounds were so horrifying that they were covered in flesh and blood.
Ah!
Shen Huowu was so scared that she closed her eyes tightly and dared not look at it. Yi Wuliang looked straight at the other person, and when he saw her face clearly, he was even more shocked.
This woman's appearance is truly beautiful, with a full aura between her eyebrows, red lips, and white teeth. She is wearing a thin, slightly transparent shirt, so sexy. Compared to the stunning Shen Huowu, she is not inferior at all. What a beautiful girl. Gee, is she from the Mandala Villa?
Yi Wuliang's gaze swept over the other person's face, and he immediately revealed the other person's identity.
Mandala Villa is a famous existence in the cultivation world.
It belongs to a sect with extremely strong overall strength, and all of its members are women. Because of their special cultivation methods, the disciples of the sect all have a mark of a mandala flower on their foreheads. For those with a low realm, the mark is just a bud.
As the realm increases, the mandala blooms, representing a strong cultivation in realm.
The stunning woman in front of him had a half-bloomed mandala flower mark on her forehead. Her cultivation level is already at the peak of the Tianyuan realm, only one step away from
the master.
At such a young age, she is already at the pinnacle of the Tianyuan realm.
It seems that you are also considered a core disciple in the Mandala Villa.
Yi Wuliang muttered. The woman lying on the ground, stiff and motionless, just stared at Yi Wuliang in silence, as if she was ready to die.
Don't be afraid, I'm the most compassionate person.
I can't bear to bully a pretty girl like you, let alone kill you. Besides, I have no grudges against you or Mantushan, so why would I kill you?
Yi Wuliang laughed.
While he was talking, he looked at the woman with a lecherous gaze, then he took out a bag of powder and sprinkled it.
Ah!
The powder fell on the woman's wound, and she couldn't help but cry out in pain, feeling only searing pain in the wound. But then she was horrified to discover the wound on her body was rapidly healing at a speed visible to the naked eye, and at the same time, she felt that the qi in her weak and dried meridians was beginning to recover a little.
Who are you? Why did you save me? Finally, the woman spoke.
But as soon as she opened her mouth, whoosh, 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 for sounds of breaking the air rang out, and 4 figures exuding a fierce murderous aura suddenly appeared in the woods. The 4 figures suddenly appeared, all exuding a fierce murderous aura.
Yi Wuliang frowned. He turned around and his gaze fell on the 4 men.
Among these 4, 3 of them are actually at the pinnacle of the Tianyuan realm, and the leader has even reached the master realm.
Damn, this is too exciting.
This girl's realm is only the pinnacle of the Tianyuan realm, but these people have actually arranged so many experts to come after him, even sending out a grandmaster.
Yi Wuliang whispered to himself, then looked at the stunning woman. Hey, what did you do to deserve so many experts coming after you? You're not planning to destroy the galaxy, are you?
Upon hearing this, the beautiful woman's mouth twitched, and she almost vomited blood in frustration.
Me? Destroy the galaxy? You bastard, you really dare to think about it.
If I had the ability to destroy the galaxy,
left.
The three people at the pinnacle of the Tianyuan realm were lying on the ground, moaning in pain, and they didn't have the strength to get up. As for the Grandmaster, after being knocked over and spitting out a mouthful of blood, he quickly got up and looked at Yi Wuliang angrily.
Damn it, you little bastard, you dare to sneak up on me? Do you know that I am an elder of the Flame Sect? You are declaring war on the Flame Sect by attacking me, do you know that?
His eyes were full of anger and alertness. He was angry because he had been beaten, and alert because Yi Wuliang had slapped him in the face before he could react.
This made him realize that Yi Wuliang was no ordinary person.
This guy may seem young, but in reality, his combat effectiveness is definitely not weaker than his.
The Fire Sect? Yi Wuliang raised his eyebrows and shook his head, never heard of it.
In fact, the position of the Flame Sect in the realm of cultivation is not weak, and it is almost at the same level as the Mandala Villa.
But unfortunately, the Flame Sect is basically all male cultivators, with almost no women.
Yi Wuliang is not interested in such a sect of all men, so even if he had heard of it before, he would have forgotten about it.
On the contrary, it is a sect of women like Mandu Villa.
Just one glance at the information on Mandala Villa and it would be deeply engraved in his mind, and he would never forget it in this life.
Kid, go to hell. Suddenly,
the powerful master of the Flame Sect let out a roar and jumped high into the air. His hands were burning with fire, and two flames were about to fly towards Yi Wuliang and burn him to death.
Humph, you don't know when to die.
Yi Wuliang sneered. He raised his hand and pointed his fingers like a sword, and in an instant, a sword ray was cut out from his fingers.
Boom!
This sword ray was fierce and domineering, cutting through the void.
Ah!
The sword ray cut toward the master of the Flame Sect. Accompanied by a scream, the master's flame palm was not even released before he screamed and his body was cut apart.
Boom! The next second,
the sword energy cut it into countless pieces in an instant, like dust, scattering on the ground.
The woman from the Mandala Villa was struck by lightning.
She watched helplessly as the master of the Flame Sect was instantly killed by Yi Wuliang's sword-like finger-pointing, and then chopped into pieces, and her heart was filled with endless shock. The true chi leaves the body and turns into a weapon.
Is this the realm of a martial arts king? Is he a martial arts king above the master?
The woman thought of this, her eyes staring wide, her soul as if struck by lightning, her eyes so shocked they were about to pop out.
Breathe!
In an instant, her breathing became extremely rapid, her chest rising and falling wildly. She looked at Yi Wuliang with eyes that were as awe-inspiring as those of a god. At such a young age, he has already reached the realm of a martial arts king.
What a terrifying existence. You have to know. The current leader of the Mandu Villa is only a martial arts king. Chapter 25 Shen Huowu's Doubts. In an instant, Li Qingyi of Mandu Villa was shocked and dumbfounded, almost dying of shock.
She couldn't believe that the man in front of her, who was about the same age as her, was actually a martial arts king, on the same level as the owner of the Mandu Villa. You have to know that Yi Wuliang is only in his 20s. At this age, he is already a cultivation genius who has reached the pinnacle of the Tianyuan realm. If he can reach the level of a grandmaster, he is almost a demon-like existence. And if he reached the realm of a martial arts king at a young age, around 20, then he is a true demon, a peerless demon.
This is impossible.
He can't be more than 25 years old. How can he reach the level of a martial arts king at such a young age? Li Qingyi trembled, her heart filled with horror. After Yi Wuliang had destroyed his enemy, he slapped his palms together with great ease, as if he had just done something trivial. He walked towards Li Qingyi.
Suddenly, Li Qingyi's body tensed up and she looked at Yi Wuliang nervously. Hey, little girl, your name is Li Qingyi, right? Why are these people from the Flame Sect chasing you? Could it be that you have some treasure on you?
As he said this, Yi Wuliang shamelessly reached out his hand and said in a lewd tone, "Young master is not going to rob you of your beauty today, just your wealth. Hurry up and hand over the treasure you have on you, and you will be safe." "I don't have any treasures on me.
My mother is the head elder of the Mandala Villa.
Our two families have been in constant conflict for many years, and we have long harbored deep grudges. I ran into them by chance, and they wanted to arrest me because they saw that I was alone, and they wanted to use me to threaten my mother, so they chased me.
I really don't have any treasures on me. If you don't believe me, you can search me. Li Qingyi had no intention of resisting at all. Not to mention that she is seriously injured now. Even if she is not injured and is at the peak of her powers, she is definitely no match for Yi Wuliang, so she seems very helpless. Yi Wuliang stared at her eyes. He could tell that Li Qingyi was telling the truth and had not lied to herself. He immediately lost interest and sighed in silence. Hey, I thought I was going to get some treasure, but it turned out to be a waste of time. Forget it. Forget it. I'll save your life today, and consider it a good deed. Let's go, he said. Yi Wuliang waved his hand. He once again embraced Shen Huowu's waist, and at the same time, Li Qingyi flew up from the ground, and Yi Wuliang embraced her with the other hand. Swish! And immediately turned into a shadow, disappearing. This time, it only took a dozen seconds to return to his residence. He carried Li Qingyi into the room and put her on the bed, letting her rest first. Yi Wuliang did not stay in the room, but went to the courtyard. Before he knew it, night had fallen. Li Qingyi was seriously injured and fell into a deep sleep after eating the dinner that Shen Huowu brought to her room. Yi Wuliang sat in the courtyard, sitting cross-legged, breathing in and out the true qi of heaven and earth, and feeling the way of nature. Although his realm has reached the supreme realm of the universe, and he is invincible in the world. However, in the depths of his mind, Yi Wuliang felt that the supreme realm was not the strongest realm, and that there seemed to be a brand new realm waiting for him to reach. However, no one has ever succeeded in doing so before him, and Yi Wuliang has no way of obtaining experience from the predecessors. According to ancient records, there were also people who had cultivated to the supreme realm. Unfortunately, over the long years, those people reached the end of their lives and ultimately failed to reach a higher realm. Since they could not learn from the experiences of their predecessors, they could only grope their way forward alone. It was late at night. Yi Wuliang opened his eyes and exhaled the air in his chest. He looked up at the stars and muttered to himself. Is the pinnacle of cultivation the supreme realm? Is there a higher realm beyond the supreme realm? Has anyone ever reached that realm? He muttered to himself, and a deep sadness flashed in his eyes. Inside the room, Li Qingyi was sleeping soundly, but Shen Huowu in the next room was unable to sleep. Through the window, she could see Yi Wuliang meditating in the courtyard. She originally thought that Yi Wuliang, that shameless rascal, would definitely try to sneak into her room at night. She was a bit nervous about it, but also a bit looking forward to it. But she never imagined that after dinner, Yi Wuliang began to meditate in the courtyard, with no intention of entering the house at all. Not going back to bed or sneaking into her room made Shen Huowu lose confidence in herself, and she even began to doubt her own charm. She thought to herself, have I aged recently? Has my attractiveness seriously declined? I can't even attract this big pervert? Chapter 26, Watching the Fire from the Shore. The more she thought about it, the more she couldn't sleep. It was already 3 a.m. She lay in bed with her eyes wide open, staring at Yi Wuliang, who was sitting cross-legged in the courtyard. She didn't know that Yi Wuliang was thinking about the profound problems of cultivation, wondering if there was a higher realm beyond the supreme, and if there had been supreme powerful beings in the past and present who had reached that realm. Hey! In the room, Shen Huowu could not help but sigh. What a coincidence! Just as she sighed, Yi Wuliang also let out a sigh. The two of them were very taciturn about sighing. After the sighing, Yi Wuliang closed his eyes again, sensing the natural way of Taoism, seeking a breakthrough. The story is divided into two parts. Chen family. It was late at night, and Chen Xiaojun was in his father Chen Wen's study, his face full of anger. Dad, why haven't you sent someone to deal with that bastard Yi Wuliang? At the Qin family's birthday party, I lost face and had my teeth knocked out. The reputation of our Chen family was also trampled on by that damned guy. You still haven't arranged for someone to kill him. Do you know what people are saying about our family now? They all say that the Chen family is scared and dares not provoke that bumpkin Yi Wuliang. Dad, we can't go on like this. If we don't kill Yi Wuliang soon, our family's reputation will be completely ruined, and how can we ever establish ourselves in Jiangzhou city? Chen Xiaojun clenched his fists, his forehead veins bulging, and he was even more irritable than usual. He looked like he was ready to take someone out and kill Yi Wuliang in 1,000 ways. Don't worry, we don't need to deal with Yi Wuliang. We can just sit back and watch the two of them fight it out. Chen Wen frowned. He turned and looked at his son, and said in a deep voice, the four families of Jiangzhou City, the Shen family, the Chen family, the Zhao family, and the Chu family.
The heir of the Chu family, Chu Tiancheng, has already made it known that Shen Huowu is his woman.
Now that Yi Wuliang is messing around with Shen Huowu, do you think Chu Tiancheng will let them go? Xiao Jun, you are the heir to the Chen family.
You need to remember that when dealing with enemies, you can use other people to kill them to preserve your own strength. Shen Xiaojun frowned. Dad, I understand the principle, but...
No buts.
Chen Wen interrupted Chen Shijuan's words with a cold voice. If we suddenly take action against Yi Wuliang, we will be going against the Zhao and Shen families.
Have you ever thought about that?
It's better to let Chu Tiancheng deal with him, and we can just watch from the sidelines.
This is the best strategy.
Shen Xiaojun wanted to say something else, but Chen Wen interrupted him.
Okay, don't say any more. It's late. You should go back to your room and rest. I'm tired too. I need to rest.
He waved his hand to let Chen Xiaojun leave. Even though he was unwilling, Chen Xiaojun lowered his head and walked out of the study.
Chen Wen picked up his phone and dialed a number.
How did things go? The head of the family can rest assured. I told Chu Tiancheng about Yi Wuliang's appearance by Shen Huowu's side in the evening.
Chu Tiancheng is very angry.
If nothing goes wrong, he will go to Shen Huowu tomorrow, and he will probably fight Yi Wuliang. As long as they meet, with his narrow-minded personality, Chu Tiancheng will definitely not let Yi Wuliang go, and they will inevitably fight to the death, bleeding and dying, while our Chen family will sit back and reap the benefits without shedding a drop of blood.
Hearing this, Chen Wen nodded with satisfaction, said nothing more, and hung up the phone.
His eyes were shining like a fox's. No word was exchanged that night.
The next morning,
after Yi Wuliang and Shen Huowu had breakfast, Yi Wuliang drove Shen Huowu to the company himself.
Yi Wuliang had not slept last night, meditating in the courtyard.
As for Li Qingyi, she was still sound asleep, and did not get up until Yi Wuliang had sent Shen Huowu away. She was injured too badly last night, and it is inevitable that she will sleep for a long time during her recovery.
Shen Group. Early in the morning, Chutian City appeared in front of the company in a smart suit, standing in front of the group waiting for Shen Huowu's arrival.
He was holding a gift box in his hand, seemingly a gift for Shen Huowu.
Only,
compared to the past, today's Chutian City's face is obviously a bit gloomy, and there is even a hint of murderous intent hidden in the depths of his eyes. The reason is that yesterday he got news that a bumpkin claiming to be Shen Huowu's fiancée had appeared by her side.
Chapter 27, The Rival Comes. Although he didn't want to believe it was true, seeing is believing. He had to see for himself, and he had to ask Shen Huowu face to face what was going on. Otherwise, his heart would not be at peace. He waited anxiously.
Shen Huowu's car finally appeared in sight, and immediately, a smile appeared on Shi Tiancheng's face. However, his smile quickly froze. Because he saw the car door open, and a young man got out of the driver's seat, while Shen Huowu got out of the passenger seat. After the two got out of the car, the young man walked over to Shen Huowu with a smirk on his face and took Shen Huowu's hand. This scene made Chutian City's eyes burst like thunder, the sky and earth collapsed, and cold light shot out of his eyes. Damn it, there is really a wild man beside Huowu. Damn, it really is damn. He even dared to lay his hands on the woman Chutian City recognized. He really is tired of living and looking for death. Chutian City clenched his fists and let out a furious roar. His angular face twisted, and his face was filled with raging anger. Huowu, who is this wild man? He walked quickly toward Shen Huowu and asked in his mouth. Chutian City? Shen Huowu immediately frowned, and a flash of disgust crossed her eyes. Chutian City, why are you here? Humph. Didn't I tell you that I don't like you? Don't come looking for me again. Are you deaf? Didn't you hear me say that? Shen Huowu had no good feelings towards Chu Tiancheng, and all she showed was indifference and disgust. She hates Chu Tiancheng, but it's not just because the Shen and Chu families are in competition in many fields. More importantly, in Jiangzhou City, Chu Tiancheng has already had a long list of misdeeds and has harmed countless innocent women. In addition, there are countless other bad deeds that Chu Tiancheng has done. 2 weeks ago, someone accidentally bumped into Chu Tiancheng in the mall, and Chu Tiancheng had someone break the man's legs and throw him into the garbage. Afterwards, the family of the person who was hit went to him to reason with him, but they were beaten half to death. It is said that the person who was beaten half to death is still lying in a hospital ward recovering. Facing a villain like Chu Tiancheng, Shen Huowu really couldn't help but feel disgusted. Huowu, I know you have some misunderstandings about me, but if you are willing to listen, I can explain everything. But you shouldn't just pick any man to make me angry. Chu Tiancity said coldly, with veins bulging on his forehead. The next second, he pointed at Yi Wuliang with his hand. Who is this wild man? How long have you been with him? Huowu, I told you, you are my woman, and I won't allow anyone to lay a finger on you. Have you forgotten that? After saying that, he didn't even give Shen Huowu a chance to speak, and his gaze fell on Yi Wuliang. The tone of his voice instantly turned cold. Kid, I don't care who you are or where you come from. If you don't want to die, leave Huowu right now. You trash, you don't deserve him. She is my woman from Chutian City. Whoever dares to lay a finger on her is slapping my face in Chutian City and is looking for death. Chutian City shouted angrily. His eyes swept over Yi Wuliang, and he continued to speak, his words still cold. I'll say it again, get out of here now, or I won't mind breaking your legs and turning you into a useless cripple who can only sit in a wheelchair from now on. He spoke with a proud look on his face. He was always arrogant and domineering. His attitude made Yi Wuliang and Shen Huowu extremely uncomfortable. Chutian City, are you sick? Who is your woman? Don't talk nonsense here. Shen Huowu said angrily. Yi Wuliang just snorted in derision. Oh, idiot, you're in love with my wife, and you want to take my wife away, right? He took Shen Huowu's hand, and when he spoke, his other hand directly hugged Shen Huowu's waist. Then he looked at Chutian City with a smug and arrogant expression. Open your eyes wide and take a good look. Shen Huowu is now my wife, you idiot. You'd better stay away from my wife, or I won't mind beating you up. Paddling. Chutian City's forehead veins bulged, and he took a few steps back, raising his hand to cover his heart tightly. He almost died of anger. Phew. He looked at Yi Wuliang holding Shen Huowu's hand, but Shen Huowu didn't seem to have any intention of resisting. Chutian City was so angry that his forehead veins bulged and his chest rose and fell wildly, as if he were about to explode with anger. Good. You little brat, you just wait. Chutian City gritted his teeth and said viciously, his eyes staring at Yi Wuliang like knives. At this moment, he really wanted to kill him. Chapter 28, The Finest Imperial Jade. Boom! Chutian City clenched his fists and his eyes were filled with rage. His eyes were like lightning, like sharp blades, staring at Yi Wuliang. Your name is Yi Wuliang, right? He said in a cold voice, someone told me yesterday that there was a bumpkin named Yi by the side of Huowu. At first, I didn't believe it, but now it seems that the person who tipped me off yesterday was telling the truth and not lying. After that, he closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and tried to suppress the anger rising in his heart. When he opened his eyes, the anger in his eyes had subsided a little, but his eyes were still red, like those of a wild animal. He didn't speak directly. Instead, he slowly opened the exquisite wooden box he was holding. Inside were a pair of bracelets. The bracelets were emerald green, crystal clear, and made of the finest imperial jade. Does Yi know what this is? This is imperial jade. I personally selected the stone type at the gemstone factory some time ago, cut it into an emerald, and then found a top master to make it into a bracelet. The value of this pair of bracelets is now over 30 million. And this is my gift to Huowu. I really want to know what kind of country bumpkin you are, and what kind of qualifications you have to stand here with Huowu. This series of operations in Chutian City is actually a display of wealth. He wanted to show off his resources to make Yi Wuliang feel inferior and realize the huge gap between them, and then stay away from Shen Huowu. However, after he finished showing off, what he didn't expect was that Yi Wuliang only glanced at the expensive, master-made imperial jade bracelet, and then immediately picked it up with his hand. Click. The next second, the bracelet was crushed in Yi Wuliang's hand and then thrown on the ground like garbage. This scene happened too suddenly. Even Shen Huowu didn't expect it, and she immediately widened her eyes in shock. She is a connoisseur, and she can tell that these jade bracelets are indeed genuine imperial jade of the highest quality, worth more than 20 million. If, as Chu Tiancheng said, these jade bracelets were made by a master, then a value of 30 million is just the bottom line, and it is no exaggeration.
But now, the jade bracelet, worth at least 30 million, was crushed by Yi Wuliang. The impact and shock were really quite exciting. Ah, you damn thing, you dare to destroy the jade bracelet I gave Huowu, you're looking for death. Shutian City instantly became furious.
Swish, swish, swish. With his roar, several people suddenly rushed out from somewhere.
They all looked at Yi Wuliang with murderous intent. Hey, what do you mean? Do you want to fight me?
Yi Wuliang sneered. He looked at them. Chu Tiancheng, you tried to seduce my wife in front of me, and I didn't even get mad.
You got mad first. Aren't you being a little unreasonable? Shutian City didn't say anything, just clenched his fists and looked at Yi Wuliang coldly. Yi Wuliang was not intimidated.
He stretched and said lazily.
Ha, you say that this jade bracelet was made from imperial jade that you yourself extracted from the gemstone factory? If that's the case, then I'm suddenly interested in playing with you. In that case, I have time now. If you don't think you can win, how about we go to the jade factory and play a few hands?
If you win, I'll give you 10 times the value of the bracelet. But if you lose, you'll stay away from my wife and never try to get close to her again. Yi Wuliang remained calm and composed, his gaze firm.
What do you mean by that? Are you challenging me to a stone gambling match? Chu Tiancheng said in a deep voice. Yes, I want to bet on stones with you. Yi Wuliang responded.
The two men looked at each other.
Yi Wuliang's eyes were deep, while Chu Tiancheng's eyes were full of murderous intent, and his back teeth were clenched. After a few seconds,
Shutian City laughed. Okay, I accept your challenge to bet on the stone, but if you lose, you will not only have to pay me 10 times the cost of the jade bracelet, I will also break both of your hands, otherwise it will be difficult to relieve my hatred.
Oh, so ruthless? Well, if that's the case, then if I win, you'll not only stay away from my wife, but also kneel down and give me 3 loud kowtows, and then swear to the heavens that if you ever bother my wife again, you'll be struck by lightning, suffer from kidney failure for 100 years, and never last more than 3 seconds. Chapter 29, Hidden Mystery. Yi Wuliang fought back with a hard blow. Pop. As soon as he said this, Chu Tiancheng was so angry that he almost spat blood. His back teeth, which were already clenched tightly, clenched even tighter. His eyes were like a guillotine, and he wanted to chop Yi Wuliang to pieces immediately. Stop talking nonsense. There are 4 top-notch stone factories in Jiangzhou City. Choose a place.
I'll let you choose a place, so that you won't say that I cheated you when you lose the bet.
Shutian City said coldly.
He couldn't wait to pit his wits against Yi Wuliang in the field of stone gambling.
Let's choose the Shisha market.
Yi Wuliang shrugged. I just came to Jiangzhou City. On the train right here, I heard someone talking about Shisha Chanko, so I knew about this place.
Shisha market?
Of the 4 top-level stone markets, without the Shisha market, the Shisha stone market you were talking about is, if I remember correctly, just a second-rate market.
Are you sure you want to go there? Shutian City stared at him. Yi Wuliang nodded.
Okay, since you've told me where it is, let's go there.
Your car is following me. You'd better not run away halfway, or I won't let you off the hook.
He issued a fierce warning. Shen Huowu frowned slightly and said after a brief pause, I'll go with you.
Wait for me.
I have to go into the office to arrange some things. After that, she quickly walked into the company. A hint of excitement appeared on the gloomy face of Chu Tiancheng.
Shen Huowu is also following? That would be great.
He was absolutely sure of winning. If Shen Huowu went with him, then after he won, he could show off in front of Shen Huowu and also make Yi Wuliang lose face in front of Shen Huowu.
This is really a win-win situation for him. 20 minutes later, Shen Huowu came out of the company and immediately drove to Shisha Chanko.
This Shisha Chanko is a bit remote, and it is 20 kilometers away from the Shen group.
When they arrived, it was already 9 a.m. They parked the car and Chu Tiancheng got out of the car.
Yi Wuliang and Shen Huowu also got out of the car.
Kid, we're already here. It's not too late for you to admit defeat now.
After getting out of the car, Chu Tiancheng looked down on Yi Wuliang and said proudly, it's not too late to admit defeat.
Admit defeat? Yi Wuliang laughed out loud when he heard this. Could he possibly lose?
A supreme and powerful person like him, coming to gamble on stones, it's not too difficult to win.
How could he lose? Shutian City, don't be too happy too soon. It's not certain who will win or lose. It's possible that I will win you in a crushing victory.
I just hope that by then, you can still maintain your current confidence.
After Yi Wuliang finished speaking, he took Shen Huowu's hand and walked towards the inside. Seeing the two holding hands, Shutian City's face immediately turned dark, and his fists clenched tightly.
There was murderous intent in his eyes. In his heart, Shen Huowu had long been recognized as his woman. Now Yi Wuliang is making eyes at Shen Huowu in front of him, holding hands and hugging her waist. Such actions are like a slap in the face, slapping him in the face. His face was so ugly that it was hard to look at. Yi, you just wait. I, Shutian City, will never let you get away with it. You will definitely die. Today, I will let you lose here, lose everything, and lose face. Then I will arrange for someone to cut you into 1,000,000 pieces and scatter your bones to the wind.
Shutian City said to himself in a cold voice.
In his heart, Yi Wuliang had already been sentenced to death.
He walked into the Shisha warehouse with a gloomy face.
Shisha Field, the warehouse. There are 3 warehouses
here at Shisha Chanko, each with hundreds of stone types.
I've already said hello to the boss here.
Let's choose the stones we bet on today directly from the warehouse. It's quick and convenient.
You and I will each choose 3 stones from this warehouse. Whoever gets the highest value after cutting the stones will win. Standing in front of the warehouse, Zhu Tiancheng spoke with an arrogant tone and an attitude that was still condescending. Yi Wuliang shook his head.
3 pieces? That's too many. It's not interesting. I think it's better to play more excitingly. You and I choose 1 each, and the winner is decided in 1 round. This way, it's less trouble and we don't waste time. 1 piece? Shutian City immediately frowned. What, are you afraid, Master Chu? Yi Wuliang smiled. You were quite the tough guy just now, but now you're scared to death at the thought of a 1-game winner-takes-all match? Chapter 30, Bet.
As he said this, Yi Wuliang rubbed Shen Huowu's soft and delicate hands, and said with a mischievous smile on his face.
Wife, look at this sissy, he's not acting like a man at all. He's so indecisive, he's worse than a woman. I'm telling you, if you see someone like this in the future, you should stay away from him.
He has too much negative energy, and if you get too close to him, your luck will suffer.
He said this in a serious tone. Shutian City almost exploded in place. Damn it!
You're the one who's mumbling like a woman, and you're the one with the bad aura. He was being told these bad things in front of Shen Huowu, and he was watching as Yi Wuliang rubbed Shen Huowu's little hand.
In an instant,
the fire in Zhu Tiancheng's heart soared. The anger in his eyes was about to solidify into a tangible substance.
Fine, then let's settle this in 1 round. No more nonsense, just choose the stone species. You and I each have 1 hour to choose.
If you choose badly after the time is up, you lose.
Shutian City roared. Well, I've already chosen this one. However, Shutian City had just finished speaking.
Yi Wuliang pointed to the large stone in front of the warehouse and said that he wanted to choose it. He was looking at a huge landscape stone, which was erected in front of the warehouse.
It was inscribed with 4 large characters, warehouse number 3.
The characters were carved by a machine and then red painted.
This stone is a plain landscape stone that is not worth much at all. At this moment,
Yi Wuliang's choice of this stone made the entire city of Chutian freeze in place.
What do you mean?
Zhu Tiancheng said subconsciously.
Shen Huowu also looked at Yi Wuliang in surprise. This is a big gamble.
If Yi Wuliang loses, he will have to pay 10 times the price of the bracelet to Zhu Tiancheng, which is 300 million.
Such a gamble.
In Shen Huowu's opinion, he must be going all out, but now Yi Wuliang casually pointed to a scenic stone and said that it was his choice. This behavior was truly unexpected.
Ha, I didn't mean anything by it. I just thought there was something inside this stone, so I chose it. What, is that not allowed? This is the scenic stone in Warehouse 3. Strictly speaking, I chose it here in Warehouse 3. Isn't this illegal? Why can't I choose it? Yi Wuliang looked at Chutian City. Chu Tian City's nose was about to be crooked. Fine, since you want to die, I'll grant your wish. Meet me at the stone crushing machine in an hour. Chu Tian City said with a sneer. He didn't bother to respond to Yi Wuliang and went straight to the warehouse to choose a stone. After Chu Tianchang left, Shen Huowu immediately looked anxiously at Yi Wuliang and said anxiously, "You, don't mess around."
Although Chu Tianchang is young, he is very strong at gambling stones. The Chu family started out by gambling on stones. The core members of the Chu family are all elites in the stone gambling industry.
Chu Tian City's grandfather is a well-known expert in the field of gambling stones in China.
You and Chu Tian City are the best at gambling stones, so you'd better give it your all. You'll lose if you mess around like this. Shen Huowu's tone was a little anxious.
Yi Wuliang laughed. Wife, you're already starting to lean on me. Are you worried that I'll lose? Hearing this,
Shen Huowu's face turned red.
She punched Yi Wuliang in a huff. Who is worried about you? I just don't want you to lose and then embarrass me. Don't flatter yourself. Hey, I'd say that's just a stubborn person who's afraid to admit it.
You're obviously worried about me, but you insist on putting on a nonchalant expression.
Yi Wuliang laughed.
Then he said firmly, "Don't worry, I won't lose. This landscape stone looks ordinary, but it's actually a pearl covered in dust.
You'll know what's inside after it's cut open." Yi Wuliang's eyes lit up.
As soon as he touched the landscape stone, Yi Wuliang sensed the magnificent energy contained within. It is no exaggeration to say that the jade contained in this landscape stone is absolutely priceless and unique.
Are you so sure you can win?
Shen Huowu was still a little worried.
Don't worry, I won't lose.
On the contrary, I will make that Chu Tianchang lose everything, so that he will tremble when he sees
me in the future. Yi Wuliang was full of confidence and didn't waste any words.
He took Shen Huowu to the area where the stone was being cut, called the person in charge of the site to negotiate the price, and then asked the person in charge to arrange for the stone to be transported over and wait for Chu Tianchang to finish selecting it.
While waiting,
Yi Wuliang and Shen Huowu were in love with each other, and the staff in the stone-breaking area were jealous of them. They saw Yi Wuliang with such a beautiful woman by his side. They were so envious that their eyes were about to pop out.
Chapter 31, Blue Jade.
Yi Wuliang has a beautiful woman like Shen Huowu by his side, which makes everyone envious. An hour passed quickly, and Chu Tian City came on time with the stone he had selected. When he came over, he saw Yi Wuliang and Shen Huowu being so intimate, and he was even more angry. His chest was rising and falling wildly, and he felt a raging anger brewing in his heart.
Humph, no need for words, let's just start cutting and quickly determine the winner. Now I just want to beat you.
I don't want to waste another minute with you, and I don't want to see you for another minute.
After meeting, Chu Tianchang looked at Yi Wuliang with hostility, as if he had just seen his father's murderer.
Well, since you want a quick fight, let's have a quick fight and start cutting.
Yi Wuliang agreed.
As the two men finished speaking, the staff responsible for cutting stone immediately began to polish and cut their stone.
The people watching the scene had already exceeded 100.
There were endless discussions.
Humph, Yi, you are doomed to lose.
The stone I selected is the best, with a green color ratio of over 90%, and most likely the best ice stone.
You will lose badly today. We'll see.
Chu Tian City couldn't help but speak up, looking at Yi Wuliang indifferently, and his words were full of show-off.
Ha ha.
In the face of his choice, Yi Wuliang just laughed and didn't pay much attention.
Humph. Chu Tian City snorted and said nothing more. Time flies. 40 minutes passed in the blink of an eye.
The stone in Chu Tian City is smaller, and it has already been cut. As the machine stops cutting, the object is immediately presented to the public after being cleaned in clear water.
As the object appeared,
it immediately caused a burst of exclamations.
Oh, it really is a top-quality ice stone.
The degree of translucency is absolutely top-notch, and it is very valuable. Zhu Zhao is worthy of being the heir of the family of stone gambling. His ability to select stone types is truly the best among the younger generation.
This ice-like stone must be worth at least 5 million.
Well, it should be at least that much. The whole audience exclaimed. Although the quality of ice is not as good as that of imperial jade, it is still a rare color that is worth discussing. Shutian City was full of pride, already looking like a man who had the victory in his grasp. Yi Wuliang's stone is too large and has not yet been cut, but Chu Tiancheng feels that his ice-type stone is a sure win.
Yi, you should kneel down and admit defeat. Do you really think that your piece of junk landscape stone, which you picked at random, can beat mine? Stop dreaming and accept reality. Shutian City sneered coldly, then couldn't help laughing. He laughed wildly and triumphantly. The onlookers around him also shook their heads, not at all optimistic about Yi Wuliang. After all, everyone knows that Yi Wuliang's stone is just a landscape stone, not even a stone species. Using a landscape stone as a stone C for stone gambling, isn't that crazy? I think he is going to lose. This is nonsense. If he wins a bet with a landscape stone, I'll eat shit on the spot. This brother has guts, but then again, he can't win with a landscape stone. That's right, he's definitely going to lose. If he wins, the sun will have to rise in the west. In an instant, there was a chorus of voices questioning the situation. These voices reached Yi Wuliang's ears, but he remained completely calm. On the contrary, Chu Tiancheng reacted greatly. He was already in a state of euphoria, strategizing and feeling confident of victory. At this moment, the people's negative comments about Yi Wuliang made him even more arrogant and convinced that he would be the ultimate winner. Yi, you heard what everyone said, right? No one thinks you're good. Everyone here thinks you'll lose. What do you think about being so badly criticized by so many people? Ha 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 ha. He laughed, his smile full of mockery, his face also a look of mockery. What a loser! Yi Wuliang said angrily. Ha? What did you say? Shutian City's face suddenly turned dark. I said you're a fool. How can you not understand such simple words? It seems that you really are a fool and your brain is not working properly. Yi Wuliang rolled his eyes and said indifferently. His words were like a slap in the face, making the already not-so-good-looking face of Chu Tiancheng even more gloomy. Chapter 32, Deep-Sea Blue Whale Jade. Shutian City, don't be in a hurry to brag. There is no conclusion yet as to who will win or lose. Do you really think that you can win me by cutting out a piece of ice worth millions? I can only say that you were too happy too soon. Yi Wuliang looked at him playfully. Are you talking nonsense? You want to win me? What makes you think you can? Is it because of this piece of junk landscape stone? Shutian City roared. However, just as he roared, a voice of surprise suddenly erupted from the crowd. Oh my god, look, the landscape stone is being shipped out, it looks like a blue jade. Boom! A stone stirs up 1,000 waves. Instantly, dozens of gazes all turned to the landscape stone. Shutian City shuddered and turned his head sharply. When he looked at the landscape stone, he was suddenly struck by lightning, and his feet were floating, stepping back a few steps. He saw. A corner of the landscape stone had been cut open, revealing a large area of blue jadeite, which was even larger than his ice jadeite. Its color was crystal clear, with not a speck of impurity in sight, and it was a pure blue color like the sky. Even though this piece of blue jadeite is of good quality, its value is not as high as his ice jadeite. But the problem is that this landscape stone is huge, and now only one corner has been cut. Who knows how much larger the blue jadeite is inside the stone? If he continues to polish it, Yi Wuliang can definitely win by sheer volume, surpassing the ice jade from Shutian City. No. Shutian City was struck by lightning, and his face instantly turned pale. The people around him were exclaiming in amazement. Is this for real? A blue jadeite was cut from a landscape stone. This is too fantastic. Oh my god, am I dreaming? This piece of junk landscape stone has actually cut out a top-grade blue jadeite. This is a once-in-a-century event. A miracle, truly a miracle. By the way, the guy who just said there was a good deal in the landscape stone, is he still there? The whole audience gasped. Everyone was staring at the landscape stone with wide eyes, and shock and disbelief were in everyone's eyes. After the tsunami of discussion and exclamations, the scene fell into a dead silence. Everyone present all stared with wide eyes, with a look of disbelief, at the landscape stone that was being polished. They were dumbfounded. Everyone was dumbfounded. No one could imagine that such an inconspicuous landscape stone could be cut into such a valuable jade, which was simply too crazy. You have to understand that before this.
This landscape stone had been in front of warehouse number 3 for more than 10 years. It has been exposed to the wind and rain for 10 years. No one has ever discovered the mystery of this landscape stone, but today it was discovered by Yi Wuliang, which is truly shocking.
Shutian City, you are doomed to lose. My landscape stone is a rare treasure that cannot be found easily. You think you can win me with this ice stone? It's not even worth dreaming about. Yi Wuliang opened his mouth and looked at Shutian City with a smile. Shutian City's body trembled violently. He had a sad face. It was a look that was about to burst into tears. Oomph, you're just lucky. Keep cutting the blue jade that you've polished so far. It's not worth more than my ice jade. I don't believe that you can continue to polish out jade in the future. I don't believe it. If you can't get any more jade out of it, then you'll still lose. There's no way you can turn it around. Shutian City clenched his fists and shouted. Well, let's wait and see. Yi Wuliang sneered. As he finished speaking, the scene fell into a deathly silence again. Everyone's eyes were focused on the stone-cracking machine, watching intently and not daring to be distracted for even a moment. As the machine continued to work, the blue jadeite was showing an ever-increasing area, some of which was white. It was actually a two-color jadeite. Blue jadeite and white jadeite combined together. Plop! Shutian City slumped to the ground. Although the polishing was still continuing, the part that had been polished so far was already worth more than him. This also means that he has lost. He had lost completely. As the landscape stone continued to be polished, there were more exclamations. Deep-sea blue whale jade, look at the bottom. It's deep-sea blue whale jade. Oh my god, it's incredible. It really is deep-sea blue whale jade. He won. The value of this jade is at least over 100 million yuan. Shutian City has lost badly. The audience gasped again. Chapter 33, Punishment. The so-called deep-sea blue whale jade is actually blue jade, but it is the top of the blue jade. The top of the landscape stone is white jade, which is not worth much. The middle part is the best blue jade, and the blue jade at the bottom is a bit more profound in color, as if it were sinking into the deep sea. The bottom layer of blue jade is called deep-sea blue whale jade in professional terms, which refers to the finest blue jade with a deep sea-like color. Now Yi Wuliang's landscape stone, just the bottom blue jade, its value is firmly over 100 million, completely crushing the ice jade of Shutian City. This result shocked the audience. Shutian City was even more shocked, and the whole person couldn't help but seem like he was about to go crazy. He sat on the ground, shaking his head frantically, unable to believe it was true. Hey, Mr. Yi, are you willing to sell this jade? I am the person in charge of Tonling Jewelry. Our company is willing to pay 150 million. Suddenly, someone started bidding. A stone stirs up 1,000 waves. Before he could finish speaking, someone interrupted him. I am a private collector and I am willing to pay 200 million. 300 million. Sunlin Jewelry is willing to pay 300 million for this jade. Mr. Yi, would you like to go for a cup of tea? I am willing to pay a higher price. Can we discuss it in person? Humph, what's the point of meeting? This piece of jade is a once-in-a-lifetime find. I'll give you 350 million. Just sell it to me. In an instant. Everyone made a crazy bid. The prices they shouted were like a series of loud and clear slaps, wildly hitting Chu Tiancheng in the face. Ha, Shutian City, what else do you have to say now? Yi Wuliang looked at him with a smile. Shutian City's heart trembled violently. If I remember correctly, if I win our bet, you will have to stay away from my wife and not get close to her, and you will also have to give me 3 kowtows, right? As soon as he said this, Shutian City's face turned green. He looked up at Yi Wuliang and glared at him. You're dreaming. I won't even bow to you if I die. He clenched his teeth and vowed to die rather than do so. In this regard, Yi Wuliang had already expected this. Even if he won, this guy would definitely renege on his promise, so he wasn't angry. He just looked at Chu Tiancheng with a smile. The next second, he appeared in front of Chu Tiancheng like a ghost, grabbed the other party by the collar and lifted him up. Pop! Then, in front of everyone, a loud slap was directly slapped on Chu Tiancheng's face. Since he refused to kneel, he must be taught a lesson. Chu Tian City, you can't lose a bet if you don't kneel, so I'll give you a few slaps as compensation. Yi Wuliang said with a wicked smile. The words were not finished. Pop! The second slap fell. After 2 slaps, they were all firmly slapped on the face of Chu Tian City. These 2 slaps made Chu Tiancheng spit blood, his mouth twisted and his eyes evil, and he almost fainted. The teeth in his mouth were loosened by the slaps. Yi Wuliang's violent attack caused everyone around him to exclaim, temporarily stopping the bidding and watching the scene in shock. After all, Chu Tiancheng is one of the 4 families in Jiangzhou City, the eldest son of the Chu family. But now, Yi Wuliang is choking him, acting like he's trying to strangle a dead child. This is extremely shocking to everyone. Pop! Yi Wuliang did not show mercy and struck again. The third slap came as scheduled. Pop! Chu Tian City spat out another mouthful of blood, accompanied by 2 teeth. Ha, so weak? Yi Wuliang smiled indifferently and casually threw Chu Tiancheng to the ground. Chu Tian City refused to kowtow. Then I'll just give him 3 slaps, and pretend that he's already kowtowed. After that, he would throw him away like garbage. Okay, now you can leave. Remember, you are not allowed to come near my wife again, and you are not allowed to think about her anymore. This time I'm just giving you a small punishment for a big crime. I'm just going to give you a few slaps, but if you dare to bother my wife in the future, I don't mind if you die, understand? Yi Wuliang's gaze was like lightning, piercing straight into the heart of Chu Tian City. In an instant, Chu Tian City was so scared that he trembled wildly, feeling as if Yi Wuliang was staring at him with such a look, as if he were about to send him to hell. It was really terrifying. Chapter 34, The Anger of Chu Tiancheng. Chu Tian City was paralyzed on the ground, trembling like a sieve. His eyes were filled with terror, and his expression was full of fear. His face was burning with pain. After all, Yi Wuliang's slap was very heavy, and it hurt to the bone. Now you can leave. Remember our bet. You lost, so you have to stay away from my wife in the future. If you dare to continue to harass my wife in the future, the consequences are absolutely unimaginable. Yi Wuliang clapped his hands lightly and said in a playful tone. At the same time, he thought to himself, if Chu Tiancheng dares to continue to harass Shen Huowu in the future, he will take some medicine and give it to Chu Tiancheng to eat, so that he will never be able to get an erection again after eating it, and he will become an eunuch. This thought rose in his heart and would not go away. This thought made Yi Wuliang can't help but laugh strangely. Seeing the strange smile on his face, Chu Tiancheng's fear deepened, and his body trembled even more violently. You wait for me. This is not over. I will come for you sooner or later. Chu Tian City took a deep breath and gritted his teeth. Fine, if you're not satisfied, you can challenge me anytime. I'm waiting for you. Whether it's a bet on a stone or a fight, whatever you want to challenge, I will accompany you to the end. Yi Wuliang shrugged lightly and responded in a relaxed tone. Chu Tian City got up, gritted his teeth and said a few harsh words before fleeing in a panic. The onlookers all sighed. The young master of the Chu family left in such a disgraceful manner, and he did so after suffering such a great loss. It was truly saddening. But soon, everyone stopped paying attention to Chu Tiancheng, and many people who were not short of money came forward to surround Yi Wuliang and bid for the deep-sea blue whale jade. In the end, Yi Wuliang sold it for 500 million, making a huge profit. You have to know that Yi Wuliang only paid 20,000 yuan for this scenic stone, and 20,000 earned 500 million. It's almost like getting laid for free. Chu family. When Chu Tiancheng returned home, he was as angry as thunder, and smashed everything he could see. Expensive floorboards, bottles of expensive red wine smashed to pieces, and all kinds of porcelain turned to dust. Chu Tian City sat on the ground, his eyes bloodshot, his mouth roaring, as if he were crazy. Yi, you wait for me. I, Chu Tian City, will never let you go. Even if I die, I will drag you down with me. I will arrest you, cut you into pieces, and slice you up. You just wait and see. He shouted in exhaustion. His words were filled with endless hatred and deep-seated hatred. If I could. He really wanted to immediately arrest Yi Wuliang and tear him to pieces alive, so that he could get his revenge. He screamed and cursed furiously.
After a long time, when his emotions gradually calmed down, he took out his cell phone and made a call. The conversation is divided into two parts.
Urban village. It was evening.
After finishing work at the company, Shen Huowu returned to the urban village. After returning home, he went into the house to wash up, took a simple shower, and changed into casual clothes. In the courtyard, Yi Wuliang sat there, frowning and deep in thought.
The question he was pondering was still the realm above the supreme.
In fact, 2 months ago, Yi Wuliang felt that he had reached a bottleneck, that he still had the potential to continue to make breakthroughs, and that there was a new realm waiting for him beyond the supreme realm. However, no matter what ancient books he consulted or what his teachers said, the answer was that the realm of the supreme was already the pinnacle, and it seemed that no one had ever reached a higher realm in the past or present. There was indeed no record of the supreme realm in any ancient books.
Is there a new realm above the supreme realm? Where is the end and the peak of cultivation? Is the supreme already the pinnacle? Or is the supreme realm not the pinnacle, but just the beginning?
Yi Wuliang muttered. His mind was immersed in thought. He didn't notice that Li Qingyi, who was unconscious in the room, had already woken up, and Shen Huowu, who had finished washing up, was happily chatting with Li Qingyi.
The two of them hit it off right away.
Soon they became close friends, and their conversation ranged from clothes and jewelry to cosmetics and designer handbags. It has to be said that women are truly a magical species. They can become best friends in the shortest amount of time, and they can talk about anything and everything.
Night falls. It was already 10 o'clock at night. Yi Wuliang was still thinking.
At this moment, a pair of gentle hands suddenly appeared on his shoulders. The two hands rested on his shoulders and gently slid forward.
Chapter 35, Not Interested in Women.
Soon, these hands came to his chest, and at the same time, a fresh aroma filled his nostrils.
Master Yi, what are you thinking about? You seem so engrossed in your thoughts. Can you tell me what you are thinking about?
A gentle voice came from behind him. Yi Wuliang's body trembled, and he turned his head sharply, only to be dumbfounded. He thought Shen Huowu was approaching him, but when he turned around, he realized that it wasn't Shen Huowu behind him, but Li Qingyi.
Shit, it's you? Yi Wuliang was shocked.
Li Qingyi smiled and turned her body lightly, coming directly in front of Yi Wuliang. The next second, she was directly sitting on Yi Wuliang's lap, with her two lotus-like arms resting on his shoulders, holding him tightly. Li Qingyi was wearing something revealing, and her good figure was undoubtedly on display in front of Yi Wuliang.
Boom!
Smelling the fragrance from her body and looking at Li Qingyi's seductive figure, Yi Wuliang's blood rushed to his head, and he almost coughed up blood from his nose.
Master Yi, am I beautiful? Li Qingyi asked.
Yi Wuliang's breathing became short. Li Qingyi continued in a gentle tone, "If you hadn't come to my rescue yesterday, I would have died at the hands of those villains from the fire sect."
Master Yi, how can I repay you? How about giving yourself to me?
But you have to be gentle later.
This is my first time.
As she said this, Li Qingyi lowered her head, her cheeks flushed, like ripe apples.
Yi Wuliang exploded in an instant.
His heart was pounding so hard that it was about to jump out of his throat.
Damn it! What is going on? Did a big meat pie fall from the sky?
Yi Wuliang almost burst out laughing, but at that moment, he suddenly shuddered and felt something was wrong.
Because he sensed that Shen Huowu was staring at him in the room.
When he realized this, Yi Wuliang, who was feeling all hot and bothered, felt like a red-hot coal being poured into a basin of cold water.
Damn, is this going to be a scene of adultery? Yi Wuliang exclaimed in his heart and hurriedly pushed Li Qingyi away.
Ha! Suddenly pushed away, Li Qingyi looked at Yi Wuliang in surprise. Yi Wuliang suddenly raised his hand, signaling her to keep her distance from him. "Miss Li, you've misunderstood.
I, Yi Wuliang, am not that kind of person. I don't like women. You should respect yourself more."
He said this, but in his heart he was about to cry to death.
He thought with great sadness, this is a trap. You two women are deliberately trying to trap me, aren't you?
One came out to seduce me, and the other was secretly watching from inside the room.
Is this a plan to catch me in bed and then snap me up?
Thinking of this, he suddenly clenched his legs, feeling a chill between his legs that made his heart flutter.
They're cheating on me.
Wife. You even teamed up with other women to trick me.
I'm so depressed.
Yi Wuliang cried out in his heart.
He hurriedly stood up and shouted without looking back. Miss Li, don't try to seduce me. I'll be honest with you. I don't like you. In my heart, there is only my wife. I definitely don't like any other woman except her. Although I know that I am the most handsome man in the world, and that no other man is even close to being as handsome as I am, I really don't like you. A forced relationship is not a happy one, so don't be delusional and daydreaming. He deliberately said it out loud, so that Shen Huowu could hear it. Puff. In the room, Shen Huowu couldn't help but laugh out loud after hearing this. She quickly walked into the courtyard. She smiled at Yi Wuliang. You big pervert, you're so shameless, you don't even blush when you lie. You're such a heartless big radish who loves one woman after another. Do you think I'll believe you when you say this? Shen Huowu couldn't help but complain. She walked up to Yi Wuliang and took his arm. At this time, Li Qingyi came to the other side and hugged Yi Wuliang's other arm. What are you two trying to do? What conspiracy are you two women plotting? Yi Wuliang looked at the two of them in confusion. Humph, tell me the truth. Don't you really want to take us both? Shen Huowu looked at him and said very straightforwardly, Qingyi told me everything. I know that you are a martial arts master, and I know that a man like you is definitely not the kind of man that I can have all to myself. Sooner or later, you will have other women. Chapter 36, No need to draft a draft for bragging. Actually, I don't really mind this. My mother died young, and my father has had several women around him over the years, so I'm more open-minded. You are so good, so it is inevitable that you will have other women around you in the future. I get along very well with Qingyi. I think that instead of letting other women take you away, it would be better to give you half to Qingyi. At least I know she is not a bad woman. Shen Huowu said seriously. Yi Wuliang was stunned and said subconsciously. Well, let me correct you. I'm not the king of martial arts. I'm the supreme realm. The king of martial arts is too hot-headed. You're saying I'm the king of martial arts? That's a huge disadvantage for me. As soon as he said this, Li Qingyi immediately burst into laughter, punched him in the chest, and said with contempt. Stop bragging, Supreme? Humph. Since the white-clad sword saint passed away 80 years ago, there has been no Supreme in the world, and you're actually bragging that you're Supreme. If you are the Supreme, then I was born as the Supreme, and our whole family is the Supreme. You really don't know when to stop bragging. Yi Wuliang. Li Qingyi, Master Yi, do you like me or not? I'm stuck with you anyway. From now on, Huowu and I will both be your women. You have to be gentle with us. Shen Huowu, now that you have sisters, you can't go out and fool around anymore. Even if you like someone else, you have to get our permission. Otherwise, we'll just snap you in two while you're asleep. He heard this. Yi Wuliang trembled. Kill me? Damn, that's scary. It's true that the most poisonous woman's heart is the most poisonous. My master told me that falling from the sky is never a good thing. Please let me go. Let's talk about it. Yi Wuliang's submissive appearance made the two women laugh uncontrollably. Li Qingyi leaned her mouth directly into Yi Wuliang's ear. What, you don't have any thoughts when a beauty is right next to you? We've come to you, don't you want to try it? The sweet smell and the soft voice that entered Yi Wuliang's ears were like pouring oil on the fire. Yi Wuliang, who had just been a little scared, suddenly felt his bones go numb and his breathing became short. Hoo. His chest rose and fell. Looking at the two stunning women next to him, his body reacted. Mad, facing death, who fears death for 10,000 years? Come on. Yi Wuliang roared, let's go, into the house. I'm not afraid of death, so I'm not afraid of you. Tonight, I'll fight you for 3,000 rounds, and you'll all beg for mercy. After he finished speaking, Yi Wuliang felt his blood boil. The two women blushed when they heard this. However, at this moment, Yi Wuliang suddenly looked gloomy. Damn it, which son of a bitch is ruining my good luck? Get out here. He shot out a fierce glare from his eyes and roared. Shen Huowu and Li Qingyi were both stunned, looking at Yi Wuliang in surprise. At this moment, a figure appeared, standing on the wall, and gave a cold smile. I've come at a bad time, ruining your good deed, right? Don't worry. After you die, I'll take good care of these two beauties for you. You owe them 3,000 rounds, and I can finish them for you too.
Kid, if you kneel down and beg for mercy now, I can make your death quick and painless.
Otherwise, you'll be tortured.
After saying this, the black-clad man, who was wrapped in a nightcloak, smiled menacingly. His body exuded a murderous intent.
Without further ado, someone has asked me to kill you, and tonight is your death date. The murderous aura emanating from the black-clad man was cold and fierce.
As he spoke, he jumped off the wall.
He was holding a dagger. He approached Yi Wuliang step by step. Humph, trash at the peak of the earthly realm, you're not even at the Tianyuan realm and you're here to kill me? Which idiot sent you here to die?
Yi Wuliang said coldly with a stern face.
Chapter 37, Imperial City Hegemony.
He was naturally full of anger when his good deed was ruined. At this moment, he didn't bother to say anything and directly pushed the two women away, and his body disappeared like a ghost.
Where is he? Seeing Yi Wuliang disappear in front of his eyes, the man in black froze.
But the next second, his face changed dramatically, and he felt cold all over his body, because he felt someone behind him. He turned around abruptly, but saw Yi Wuliang standing behind him, close to him.
Ah, you, the black-clad man, was shocked. But before he could say a word, Yi Wuliang had already grabbed his neck. Ka chow.
Yi Wuliang struck with lightning speed, and the black-clad man's arms were suddenly broken, his arms were directly disabled, and then he didn't even wait for him to react. Yi Wuliang struck again. Slaps, 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 like rain, fell furiously on the black-clad man's face. Each slap was powerful and heavy, and the black-clad man kept spitting blood. The face covered by the black cloth became a pig's head at a speed visible to the naked eye, swelling up. At the peak of the earthly realm, such a realm is not even comparable to an ant in front of Yi Wuliang.
Damn, you ruined my fun. If I don't beat you to death today, I'll take your last name.
Yi Wuliang cursed and swore, slapping the black-clad man wildly, who was in a state of ecstasy and death, like an idiot. Yi Wuliang was extremely angry, his slaps were fierce, and he was as irritable as thunder. I was just about to go into the house to do some business, but you came out of nowhere to cause trouble.
You're asking for it, aren't you? Since you want to die, then I will grant your wish and beat you until your cheeks are red and swollen, so that you will know why flowers are so red. The slaps continued, and the man in black let out a miserable cry. After a long time, Yi Wuliang's anger subsided a little, and he threw the man in black to the ground like he was throwing out trash. At the peak of the earthly realm, I didn't even realize he had snuck in. Li Qingyi frowned slightly. You're injured and haven't recovered yet, so it's normal that you didn't notice. Yi Wuliang said, exuding murderous intent, ready to silence him. Ah, no, don't kill me.
Realizing that his life was in danger, the black-clad man immediately said, please spare my life, I am willing to serve you, and from now on I will be a dog at your feet, I only ask to be able to keep my life, please forgive me. He pleaded in a sad voice, full of the desire to survive. You're just a trashy local-level cultivator, you're not qualified to be my dog, you're not even qualified to hold my shoes, what's the point of keeping you alive? Yi Wuliang said coldly. Ah, senior, I am the 195th assassin on the Imperial City's assassin list, and my codename is Dark Nightblood. And I have some influence here in Jiangzhou City. If you spare my life, in the future, if I encounter some trivial matters that are inconvenient for me to handle, I can completely do it for you. Or if you encounter something that would lower your status if you were to do it yourself, I can also serve you, serving you from the front to the back. I am useful. Please spare my life. He was so scared that he begged for mercy, trembling like a sieve. Yi Wuliang, who was about to kill him, did not rush to do it after hearing his words. Yes, if I take him on, let him do things for me, then in the future, he can do some errands or other trivial things. Well, you do have a point. Yi Wuliang muttered. Upon hearing this, the man in black was ecstatic, struggling to get up and kneeling on the ground to thank him. Yi Wuliang rubbed his chin and suddenly said, wait, what is this thing you just mentioned, the Imperial Cities? Killer list? I've never heard of it. Imperial City Hegemony is a game. Li Qingyi said. Yi Wuliang looked over, and Li Qingyi walked over to him and took out her phone to open a game called Imperial City Hegemony, which was similar to Legend. After logging in, is to open the leaderboard. This game is actually an online platform for killers to take on missions. The battle rankings are actually the rankings of killers. This game was born 8 years ago, and no one knows who the boss is. But every day, various missions are posted in the game, and killers can also take on missions in the game and receive commissions. I just registered an account a year ago, and now my ranking is 103. Li Qingyi said with a hint of pride. She then pointed to the 103rd position on the leaderboard, where her codename was listed as Weak Water. Oh, this game is for posting and accepting missions? Yi Wuliang was surprised. He looked down. He soon saw the 195th position, where the game account name was Dark Night Blood. Chapter 38, Snow in the Dark. He looked at the man in black and asked, "Is this Dark Night Bloodshed you?" "Yes, it is my subordinate." The black-clad man hurriedly replied. "Ranked 198th, this is almost 200th place. This ranking is too bad. How did you get so far down the rankings?" He couldn't help but complain. The black-clad man immediately blushed and was ashamed. He wanted to say something, but Yi Wuliang didn't bother to listen, and waved his hand directly. "Forget it, although you are useless, you will still be useful for running errands in the future, so you can follow me in the future." Before he finished speaking, he raised his hand and tapped the black-clad man on the forehead. Suddenly, a huge amount of spiritual power rushed into the black-clad man's mind. In an instant, it was imprinted in the other person's mind, leaving a mark. The black-clad man shuddered, feeling that he had somehow connected with Yi Wuliang in the unknown. "I have already left a mark in your mind, and from now on, your life and death will be in my hands. Do a good job for me and don't betray me, otherwise, with a thought, your head will explode and you will die. Do you understand?" Upon hearing this, the man in black turned pale and nodded in fear. He could clearly sense the mark in his mind, and knew that Yi Wuliang was not joking, but had really taken control of his fate. From now on, his life or death would be in Yi Wuliang's hands. Yi Wuliang waved his hand, and a burst of pure energy rushed into the black-clad man's body. In an instant, the broken bones in the black man's arms miraculously healed within seconds. This. The man in black was horrified and kneeled on the ground, looking at Yi Wuliang like a ghost. Li Qingyi also widened her eyes in an instant, shocked by Yi Wuliang's such unorthodox methods. "What realm are you in?" "Why?" Li Qingyi asked in a shocked voice. On the contrary, Shen Huowu, who was not from the cultivation world, did not know what Yi Wuliang's move just now meant, so he did not show any surprise. "It's just a small trick, there's no need to take it to heart," Yi Wuliang said indifferently, and his gaze fell on the man in black again. "Tell me, who arranged for you to come against me?" "Shutian City." The black-clad man replied immediately. "Humph, it turns out that it's that ugly guy whose appearance is not even 1/100th as good as mine. That guy must be envious of my beautiful face, so he arranged for you to come against me out of jealousy." Yi Wuliang sighed, a depressed expression that it wasn't my fault for being handsome. As soon as he made that expression, the black-clad man's mouth twitched violently. Li Qingyi and Shen Huowu both had black lines across their foreheads, and they felt like punching him to death. They thought to themselves, "At this time, you still haven't forgotten your narcissism, there's really no one like you. Shutian City, right? Hey, come here." Yi Wuliang chuckled and made a weird sound, then hooked his arm at the black-clad man. The black-clad man immediately came forward, and Yi Wuliang whispered in a low voice. After that, he patted the black-clad man on the shoulder. "Okay, go to your job and leave a lasting impression on Shu Tancheng." "Yes, I will do it right away." The black-clad man immediately agreed, then jumped up and disappeared, leaving Yi Wuliang standing there with a smug grin on his face. "Hey, two wives, the matter is settled, let's continue." After the black-clad man left, Yi Wuliang quickly got into the mood, directly embracing the two women on his left and right, his face full of excitement. Before he could finish speaking, he was already holding the two women and fighting them for 300 rounds. However, just as he was about to enter the room, the sound of the gate being pushed open rang out. "Ah!" Seeing someone coming in, Shen Huowu immediately pushed Yi Wuliang away with a blush. Li Qingyi also took a few steps back to create some distance. Yi Wuliang was about to cry. "You're not done yet, are you? Bullying people, huh? I just want to do that, but why are there so many people coming? Are you all in cahoots to bully an honest man?" He was crying with a sad face, unable to cry. At this moment, the gate was pushed open and the landlord, Auntie Run, walked in. "Oh, Auntie Run, you're back.
weren't you just out?
I saw the light in your room, so I thought you were home.
Shen Huowu greeted her. Chapter 39, Old Bull Eating Tender Grass? Oh, I just had dinner and went for a walk. By chance, there was a barbecue stall opening on the street today, and they invited someone to sing there, so I watched for a while.
Auntie Run smiled and said.
Suddenly, Auntie Run glanced at them and said, "Are you hungry? The owner of the food stall is quite close to me. Why don't I invite you to dinner? I'll treat you tonight. It's just that I'll be taking someone there, so I'll be supporting the couple." That's great. I haven't had a street food stall meal in a long time. Thank you, Auntie Run, for treating us.
Li Qingyi immediately became excited.
Shen Huowu also nodded and agreed with a smile. Yi Wuliang almost burst into tears. Oh, heaven and earth, which angel is trying to trick me? Why eat at a food stall? Isn't it better to make a baby behind closed doors? I already have a name for the baby. But you tell me that we're going to eat at a food stall? Don't be so down in the dumps. Let's go together. Shen Huowu grabbed Yi Wuliang and dragged him out of the house. The street corner.
The food stalls here are very lively.
They just opened today and are having an event.
There is a rebate for topping up, plus the fact that they just opened, so there are many neighbors coming to support them, so it naturally looks extremely lively. Yi Wuliang and the others chose a table near the road that was relatively spacious.
Auntie Run, I'll go with Qingyi to order food.
You guys wait here for a while,
Shen Huowu said.
After that, she left with Li Qingyi holding hands, leaving Auntie Run and Yi Wuliang, who was depressed, sitting here. However, less than half a minute after the two women left, Yi Wuliang was sitting there, looking depressed and sullen, when a voice suddenly sounded in his ear.
Oh, Sister Run, you're here to support the Tsuehua couple today. It's been a long time since we last met. You're still as young as you used to be. Your skin is so delicate, it's really enviable.
The voice sounded a little flirtatious, tickling the hearts of those who heard it. Looking up, I saw a woman with a voluptuous figure standing next to me.
This woman is obviously over 40. But her figure is extremely enchanting. She is wearing a cheongsam, which outlines her figure almost perfectly.
Looking at her face, although there are traces of the years, there is also a unique beauty left by the years. She is still charming and is also a truly beautiful woman. The only thing that spoils the beauty is that this woman in a cheongsam, although she has a good figure and is beautiful, is now holding the arm of a man with a potbelly, thinning hair, and a greasy look.
Xiangqin, you're here too? Seeing the woman in the cheongsam, Auntie Yun smiled and greeted her.
However, the cheongsam woman was clearly hostile to Auntie Yun, and she sounded a bit strange from the beginning.
They used to be neighbors.
Later, Li Xiangqin successfully found a rich man and left the urban village. Later, she got divorced 3 times and found many rich men.
Recently, the pot-bellied man is her new boyfriend.
Although he is not handsome, he earns millions a year and is willing to spend money on her. When she was in the urban village, although her looks and temperament were not inferior to Auntie Yun, she was mean-spirited. In contrast, Auntie Yun was kind and polite to everyone, so she had much better relationships with people and a better reputation than her. This made her jealous of Auntie Run all the time. She thought that Auntie Run was just putting on an act, that she was kind on the surface but actually scheming all the time. Although she hadn't seen her for a few years, when she saw her again, she couldn't help but come over and show off in front of her, trying to completely trample her. Oh, I haven't been back in a few years, but nothing has changed here.
If it weren't for the opening of the food stall by the couple, I wouldn't have come back. Sister Run, you came to support the couple, why didn't you dress up? Li Xiangqin said, showing off her jewelry and bracelets.
Auntie Run didn't want to compete with her, so she didn't respond. Li Xiangqin felt like she had punched a fist into cotton, and a nameless flame rose in her heart.
Suddenly, her eyes fell on Yi Wuliang. The next second, she started to sneer.
Oops, I didn't notice that there was a handsome guy here.
Sister Run, who is this? Could it be your new boyfriend? I didn't expect it. You seem like a very honest person, but you've actually learned to play the old bull eating the tender grass.
You've even found such a young boyfriend.
Can your body handle it?
Li Xiangqin deliberately said loudly.
Chapter 40, The Proud Swan.
She didn't know the relationship between Yi Wuliang and Auntie Run, but at this moment, she deliberately raised her voice, as if she was afraid that others couldn't hear it. Her words did attract a lot of attention. Auntie Run also changed her expression slightly. Xiangqin, don't talk nonsense. Yi is. She wanted to explain, but Li Shangqin simply wouldn't give her the chance, interrupting, Sister Run, what can I say about you? You can't find a young man, and you can't eat handsome. You have to find a capable man. For example, my husband, although not as handsome as this little guy, is very capable. Do you know that last month, my husband was promoted again? Now his annual salary and bonus combined amount to millions. And yesterday, we went to the sales office to look at a villa, and we plan to buy it in a few days, and we plan to pay the full price. The villa is not very expensive, just 15 million yuan, very cheap. She said. Li Shangqin snuggled up to the pot-bellied, greasy man, her face full of pride. Sister Run, you're not bad looking either. My husband has a few single colleagues, why don't I introduce you to them? So you can marry into a wealthy family too? You should listen to my advice and dump the smelly little boyfriend of yours. Don't let him hold you back. Or, I can introduce you to some clients. You can spend the night with them, and you'll make a lot of money. Li Shangqin spoke again. In the meantime, she was actually trying to sell her to Run. Auntie Run looked extremely displeased, her face turning ashen, and she looked at Li Shangqin coldly with a stern expression, her chest heaving and her face extremely displeased. Hey, you woman really have a foul mouth, you talk so badly. Finally. Yuan Yu didn't say anything, but Ji Wuliang couldn't stand it anymore and sighed before slowly opening his mouth. Ha! On hearing this, Li Shangqin frowned and looked at Yi Wuliang. Her gaze swept over Yi Wuliang's sportswear, which was worth no more than 200 yuan, and his cheap sneakers. She immediately snorted and looked down on him. Oomph, what kind of thing are you? You dare to say that my mouth stinks? Do you owe a beating? Apologize to me right now, or else, I'll let my husband beat your mouth to a pulp. As she said this, she slapped him on the table, looking at Yi Wuliang with arrogance. She had never taken Yi Wuliang seriously. In her opinion, Yi Wuliang was not wearing any designer clothes, and everything he was wearing was from a street stall. Such a person, who dares to scold her, is simply looking for death. Oomph, you little brat, apologize to me right now or else you'll be sorry. Li Shangqin was aggressive. As soon as she finished speaking, the fat, greasy man looked at Yi Wuliang coldly. In front of me, you said my woman has a bad mouth. Are you really not afraid of death? Stop talking nonsense and apologize quickly. As long as Shangqin forgives you, I can pretend that nothing happened. Otherwise. The greasy man sneered. Haha, let me apologize? If I don't apologize, what are you going to do? Yi Wuliang said disdainfully. He crossed his legs and looked at Li Shangqin and the greasy man leisurely, saying lightly, even if I have to apologize, it's this bitch who has to apologize to Auntie Run, not me. After saying that, he stretched and continued. Okay, now apologize to Auntie Run. Auntie Run didn't provoke you. You came here to show off your superiority and say disgusting things. You asked Auntie Run to sell you, and you were so mean. You should apologize. On hearing this, Li Shangqin and the greasy man's faces both turned completely gloomy. Li Shangqin looked at him coldly. Little brat, what are you talking about? You actually want us to apologize? Are you dreaming? We have money and power, why should we apologize to you poor people? You are out of your mind. She no longer pretended, revealing her mean true face. Hearing her mean words, Yi Wuliang and Auntie Run both frowned. Li Shangqin, on the other hand, smiled coldly and said with a sense of superiority. Humph, you lowlives can't even touch the upper class. We drive million-dollar cars, live in tens of millions of villas, and eat imported fruit every day. Any piece of clothing on my body, even a pair of my mother's underwear, is worth more than your monthly salary. So tell me, do you poor people at the bottom of the social ladder deserve an apology from me? As she spoke, she looked up proudly, like a proud swan.